Hello, everybody. Good afternoon to all of you here. Welcome to the Sports Corner. I am your host, Chris Camello. With me, as always, my partner, Eric. Bring back the LA Kings, and I mean right now, small.
How's it going, guys?
We are live here at the San Pedro Brewing Company. Let's hear you, Bruco.
You guys having a good time?
And here comes some more people trickling in right now. Thank you to everyone being here. Thank you to James Brown, owner and manager of the Bruco, for having us here this lovely afternoon in June. First day of summer, but it's also the last edition of the Sports Corner. So we thought we'd do it.
Oh, I know.
All right.
We can only do so much here, guys.
Let's take it easy. All we could do to make up for it is deliver one heck of a show. We know we got a lot of sports fans here today. Thank you once again to everyone for joining us here. This is one of my favorite spots in San Pedro. I think it might just be the best spot to hang out in San Pedro. What do you guys think? All right, let's get down to business. I'm sure everyone was watching that thrilling 7-game series between the Miami Heat and the San Antonio Spurs, which led to a Heat victory last night to clinch their second consecutive
and I believe I told you so.
NBA championship.
I believe I told you so.
Eric, you did call it. However, San Antonio, I got to tell you this, for a team that was supposed to be mentally broken, devastated, after disastrous 30 seconds at the end of Game 6, they came out and they played, excuse my language, their asses off. They played like the heart of a champion, and you got to give them a lot of credit. With Parker struggling, Danny Green struggling, everybody starting to key in, and some of these role players, they still made it a game up until the very end.
Yeah, I mean, you also have to look at Popovich. I mean, Popovich has got to be one of the best coaches out there, and I think he's going to go down. I mean, actually, I know he's going to go down under Phil as second best of all time. So
no question. Greg Popovich, he's one of the all-time greats, and he had his players mentally ready to play into that Game 7.
Yeah, and I mean, in this situation, I mean, you could kind of look at the Spurs and how they played, and you kind of got to look at it and give it really to Popovich, because Popovich, I mean, you look at the Spurs and they're a great team, but there's no one guy that really sets them over the top. They don't really have superstars on their team. So the way to make them great is by having a great coach and with a great system. And Popovich has done it year in, year out.
No question about it. 4 NBA championships in his 16-year NBA coaching career. Tim Duncan, it's almost like Tim Duncan and Greg Popovich are what Belichick and Brady are to the NBA, what those two guys are to the NFL. Year after year, consistency after consistency. I know it's hard because I'm sure a lot of people here are Laker fans, Clipper fans. They have all been knocked out. Hey, where are the Laker fans at? Let me hear it.
Oh, goodness.
All right.
I don't think I have one Clipper fan.
And hold on. For Mr. Lob City over here, where are the Clipper fans at?
There we go. Yeah, Bagakis.
John Bagakis.
There we go.
Big Knicks.
I forgot he was in there.
He's here right now. By the way, a couple other shout-outs. My lovely mom, Irma Camello, joining us here today. Stand up, Ma.
There we go.
And how about my grandmother right there? She's even out and about. Just turned 92 years old yesterday. Angie Albano. You want to talk about superstars? There's a couple of them right here right now. But anyways, yeah, getting back to the business at hand here. So, I mean, everyone was watching that series. What was so funny is that even though, Eric, we had a lot of blowouts throughout that series, I mean, it felt like Miami blew out the Spurs in Game 2. The Spurs blew them out in Games 3 and 5. I mean, it just felt like it was two heavyweight fighters going at it. Yeah. One big punch after another.
No, I agree. And, I forgot what columnist said it, but he said that if they could play 100 games, it would be 50-50 after both of them. So, I mean, I definitely agree with that. And, they were two really hard-fought or two great teams. I mean, I think when you have to look at it, you kind of have to look at what we've talked about this before.
Right.
What gets you over the top? Superstars get you over the top.
Superstars win championships.
And LeBron got them over the top. And
LeBron was phenomenal. It's hard for me to say that because I'm a diehard Laker fan, diehard Kobe fan, but the stats do not lie. He became the second player in NBA history to win 2 straight regular season MVPs and 2 straight finals MVPs. The only other person to do that was MJ himself, Michael Jordan. He was a series MVP, of course, 37 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists last night. His averages for the series, Eric, 25 points per game, 11 rebounds per game, 7 assists. That's like Oscar Robertson numbers right there.
I mean, and you really have to look at the last 2 games, which really kind of set the average a little bit higher than normal.
No question about it. But he dominated the series. The first 3 games, I remember I was saying, where is LeBron's offense?
Yeah.
Because San Antonio did a great job loading up on LeBron and letting other guys like Wade and Bosch and some of the role players like Allen and Battier, who had been struggling throughout the postseason, dared those guys to beat San Antonio.
Well, it was kind of funny because San Antonio kind of, in a way, did what they did when he was on Cleveland.
Yeah.
I mean, they dared him to shoot. And in Cleveland, he made a lot of wrong decisions, took a lot of bad shots. But this time, I think in the first few games, until Game 5, really, he kind of was in the same situation where I don't want to go down that road. I'm not going to take the shots, and I'm going to pound the paint. But, I mean, they kept the big guys in the paint so much that he couldn't do that. So he was forced to shoot in Game 5 and 6.
Yeah, well, they were sagging off of him almost like the way you would play a guy like Rajon Rondo. I mean, you know, on Boston, when the Lakers play Boston, Rondo basically has about 10 feet to move because everyone knows he does not have a very good jump shot. So that's how they played LeBron. But LeBron, I swear last night, it felt like he hit every mid-range and three-point shot that was available to him. He looked like Kobe Bryant out there a little bit last night.
I mean, he said it last night, and after his interview, he said, I was one of the best mid-range shooters in the season. I mean, and he had to realize that. I mean, at some point, you have to, forget about all the repetition stuff and just go with what you know.
Exactly.
And
you know
that's
what
we didn't see before.
And LeBron, I think, is too good of a player to give that much airspace to. I mean, they were standing. If he was at the three-point line, it looked like they were standing almost at the free throw line.
Yeah.
They were daring him to beat them from the perimeter.
And I don't know why he took it before.
With a great player, Eric, you can never take away everything. It's hard to shut down the greats because they're too good. So what do? You basically take away the options and say, what are we willing to live with? Are we willing to live with him being a penetrator? Are we willing to live with him being a jump shooter? Are we willing to live with him being a distributor? You've got to pick your poison with LeBron James. And it almost becomes a factor of stats. What is he not going to burn you with most of the time? And it's always his jump shot.
I mean, I guess it is in a way, but I guess it's kind of like pick your poison. It definitely is. I mean, but you have to think about this. They kind of left a guy out there who had best mid-range shooting out of all the league, and he had his best three-point shooting this year career.
Yeah.
So of his career. So why would they leave a guy? You got to think. I mean, I know that is a plan that could work, but why would you do that to a guy that has already proved that he could do this?
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. Yeah. It was a little disconcerting, but I guess they said we're willing to live with that because it had been working throughout this postseason. Type of defensive strategy.
I think I'm just more happy at LeBron that he decided to go back to the ways that were getting him wins in the season, and that's what I think I really realized.
Well, I mean, this is a guy who Dwayne Wade had a bulky right knee. I mean, both of his knees were pretty much shot. I would not be surprised if Dwayne Wade now starts accepting a bit of a lesser role because it's obvious he is not himself. He was not consistent throughout this postseason. He was flat out exposed in that series against the Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. But I got to tell you, that guy, you want to say stuff about him. When it's a big game, he comes to play. 23 points, 10 rebounds last night with 2 bad knees. And did you see him attack the paint?
Yeah.
I mean, Dwayne Wade, I didn't even think he could make moves like that anymore.
And a lot of people forget about the fact that even though LeBron did have a game 2 that was pretty memorable, 33 points I think he had.
Wait, last night?
No, game 2.
Oh, game 2, yeah.
And Wade had 32 that game. So, I mean, you have to realize that even though Wade, a lot of people said that they were shoveling dirt on a living person, and that's basically the analogy that they gave, and I do agree with that, but you have to realize that Dwayne Wade is a competitor, and at the end of the day, he's going to give it his all when he needs to, and it might not have been the whole series, but he made it count when it had to.
No question about it. Dwayne Wade is the ultimate competitor, and even Magic Johnson had a lot of praise for him yesterday, calling him the most unselfish superstar, which is a pretty big claim to say that you've ever seen. I think because Wade was willing to defer to LeBron and basically say, big fella, this is your team. And that's hard to do because, remember, LeBron was not homegrown in Miami. He came from Cleveland. He was a free agent.
He wasn't even supposed to be there.
And to defer like that, my goodness. I mean, that takes a lot of guts and a lot of swallowing of pride for Dwayne Wade to do that.
Yeah, well, I think you also have to realize the fact that Dwayne Wade's done this before. He's had another big guy, a big name, come into his team and say, hey, I'll give you the keys as long as you win the championship.
If you're referring to Shaq, that was Dwayne Wade really that put Miami on his back
but Dwayne
in
Wade
2006.
Dwayne Wade went into the media and told everyone that, hey, look, this is Shaq's team. Regardless of whose team it really was, that's what he told him, and it worked out. You know why it worked out? Because Dwayne Wade decided that it doesn't matter about arguing about all that stuff in the media. It matters about winning championships, and that's what Dwayne Wade's always done. So you have to give him kudos for that.
No question. Hey, Steve, how are those sliders by the way right now?
Absolutely
They were pretty
delicious.
good.
And by the way,
I got one of
give
them.
a nice round of applause to the man who set everything up. Steve Janes, our station manager at KDHR, the man behind the scenes, but also has a terrific radio voice. He's joined us a couple times, and he's enjoying a nice meal right now.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, he might be wearing the wrong jersey.
And
but
actually, he does
I
not-
was
a great
told
guy.
there
He's
would
a
be
great
equal
guy.
amounts of fans for everybody, and now I've walked into the Lion's Den. So thank you very much,
No,
Chris.
well, my mom's wearing pink. That's close enough to the age limit.
Your mom was the first one to insult me when I walked in.
Well, I mean, she's a I love you, Mom. Dr.
She's a
Lewis,
Camello.
right.
There you go. Mrs. Camello, that was awesome.
Oh, man. Shane Battier. He had Eric Spoelstra said earlier in the series, look out for Battier. He's going to have an impact at some point in this series. And I was saying, yeah, right. This guy had not been anywhere to be found. I mean, Stephen A. Smith even came out and said, this man was lost. He was nowhere to be found at all. And all of a sudden, he goes 6 of 8 from downtown and became Miami's X Factor. And you know what? Stephen A. was right. Battier looked like how he did in 2012.
Yeah.
6 of 8 from downtown, 18 points. Remember the game Mike Miller had last year in the finals, Game 5 against OKC, when he hit like 7 threes? It was the same thing that what Battier did last night. There they are, coming right in right now.
There we got more. They
there you
just
go.
keep on filling it. It's like LA, everyone's
Hey,
fashionably
this is
late,
my town, man.
It's
But what do you think about Battier?
what I thought is that he really didn't have the chance earlier on in the series. And the reason why he didn't have the chance is because Mike Miller was going out of his mind.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of, in that situation with the Spurs, you kind of have to throw everyone you have to throw the whole, team at him. And I think that's what they did. Battier needed a lot of rest. He was coming off of, a gruesome series.
And let's
against
face it, the
Indiana
guy's
Heat,
34
or
years
Indiana
old.
Pacers.
He's been in the postseason for many years.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also some mileage on those legs as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think he got a well-rested or a well-deserved rest, and I think he needed it. And Spoelstra, I think, knew what he was doing. He waited until the right time to put Battier in because, I mean, if you look at Battier, Battier is a defensive mastermind.
Right.
And, I mean, he was what they were missing in this whole series.
Yeah, no, he was. And they were looking for somebody else to step up because Chris Bosh had not had many great games.
Yeah.
Wade hadn't had many great games. Ray Allen had a couple of decent games, but it seems like it was a different X factor every night supporting LeBron James. By the way, there goes Lon Stouts right now walking in.
Lon.
Hey, Lon,
What's up,
how
Lon?
you doing, Lon?
He doesn't look so country.
No, he does.
I got a different
he certainly
persona.
does it. And you know what? This is the second championship in a row for Eric Spoelstra. How about giving him some credit? And Jeff Van Gundy came out with a good point yesterday. This guy gets no credit when the Miami Heat wins, and when they lose, he gets all the blame. Has he solidified now as an elite coach?
In my mind, yeah, but I think he's always going to be looked at as kind of a Jim Buss kind of way. He's the scapegoat, exactly what you said. But when things go bad, everyone's going to blame Spoelstra, and they're never going to blame Pat Riley because of what he's done in the past.
Right.
So that's just how it's going to be. I think as a coach for a team with that many stars and with that much expectations, you kind of have to know that that's what you're going to get. And I think that Spoelstra's the perfect coach for that because he does know that. I mean, he realizes that not everything is going to be peachy. I'm probably going to take heat most of the time, and I'm okay with that as long as I win championships.
Of course. I mean, this is what it comes down to is knowing when to make adjustments. And we've seen him bench guys. He benched Chris the Birdman Anderson for a couple games, and then Anderson came in right around Game 5, Game 6, and he had an impact on the game. I mean, it's all about adjustments, and we've seen Spoelstra sit Mike Miller for months at a time, and then when he least expect it, Miller stays ready. He comes up off the bench. He starts burying threes. I mean, this Miami team, what is so difficult about guarding them is because you can't take anything away. They spread you out defensively. You got two future Hall of Famers in LeBron and Wade who can not only create for themselves but other people. You got Bosh when he's on, and I gotta say, Chris Bosh played some terrific defense for a guy that I have personally been crushing for years because I think, well, first of all, he looks like a skinny reptile, and second, he
or
does
an alien,
not,
one or the other.
Yeah, and second, he does not play any defense. But he did a terrific job. 2 key blocks in Game 6, and to be honest, I think that's where San Antonio lost this series. The last 20 seconds of Game 6. 2 missed free throws from Ginobili, who had a nightmare series, and Leonard, and then 2 offensive rebounds. I mean, that blame play could go anywhere.
It could. I think that you also have to realize that, or I think Duncan realized that. That's why he slapped his hands on the floor. But
They beat themselves.
You can't. I mean, I know a lot of people are saying Game 6 is where they lost it. You can't go in looking at it like that. Even if you were the Spurs, I mean, you got to look at it like this. You had another chance for Game 7. And even if you were playing in Miami, you had another chance regardless.
Right.
It was a 0-0 game when it started, and they held their own.
No, exactly, and that's what I said. Yeah, they did a terrific job. But seriously, Eric, 5-point lead, 28 seconds to go. You've got to close that game out.
You do, but I mean, there was a lot of things that you could look at in Game 7 and say they should have closed them out too. I mean, they had a lot of comebacks, and
they had the championship in there. You saw the gold rope being put up.
Yeah.
They were probably putting the tarp all over the San Antonio visiting locker room, and then all of a sudden, an offensive rebound, a three, a missed free throw, a scramble mode, Ray Allen wide open in the corner. And believe me, Laker fans, you know what a pain in the butt Ray Allen is in the 7-game series. We dealt with him in 2010. This guy makes shots.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. So you've got to get a body out to him or find a way to get a defensive rebound so you could wind down the clock.
I mean, I think you also got to realize that was just so quick. I don't think that.
By the way, 11 Game 7s he has played in his career. Can you believe that?
It's amazing.
Most of them with Boston. Go ahead, you were saying.
But I mean, that happened so quick. I don't really think that the body on the guard was really possible. I think that it was a scramble for a loose ball, and the Heat picked it up and then passed it out to a Ray Allen that was kind of high stepping back to the 3-point line. So, going back to what we were talking about before. If you're the Spurs, I know that that it's going to sting the most. Game 6 is going to sting the most, and it's probably going to be most memorable because it stings the most. And
of course,
a chance
and
that
even
you had
Ginobili was saying, "I'm a devastated right now." Yeah, he was saying he was very devastated. I think the whole team was, but
they were.
But and just like I go back to the 2011 World Series. Remember Texas, one strike away on 2 different occasions of winning the World Series, and then the Cardinals come back. They take Game 6 on David Freese's home run, and then they come out and win Game 7.
I think if Game 7 was a blowout, then you'd look back to Game 6 and say, yeah, that's definitely the deciding factor. But the fact that they were in it to the very end proves that they should have won that, and they had a chance to win it. And I think Popovich said it best. We didn't provide in the crucial moments, and I think that's what it was. I mean, he left Parker out for an extended part of time.
You're getting distracted by all these people.
A lot of people talked about that too. A lot of people asked him why they left Parker out too, and I think that might have been another reason why they didn't win too.
Yeah, no, I mean, there was Tony Parker was not very good, especially in the later part of this series. I mean, let's look at the stats. Eric, shall we look at the stats? Okay, Ginobili. Let's start off with him. Manu Ginobili in Game 6, 9 points, 8 turnovers. In game 7, bounced back 18 points, shot the ball well, 6 of 12, 5 assists, 3 fourth quarter turnovers.
Yeah.
Leonard was obviously the most consistent part. 19 points, 16 rebounds. He kind of reminds me of Scottie Pippen a little bit, doesn't he?
A little bit, yeah. But
Look at now let's go back to Parker's stats. Game 7, 3 of 12 with 10 points. 9 of 35 in Games 6 and 7 combined. Tony Parker, a guy that I thought could have been a candidate for MVP this year. He finishes 9 of 35 in Games 6 and 7. You cannot beat a team like the Heat, as good as they are, unless your star players come to play.
Yeah, I mean, I think they showed also another statistic, the fact that he had 0 points on drive or pick and rolls, and I think in Game 5 he had about 17 points in pick and roll, so something like that. So I mean,
but what about those 5 big points he had in Game 6 that turned the corner?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that you have to look at the superstars. I think that you have to kind of look at. I mean, you have to look at it in the all. I think the whole team at the crucial times played bad, and I think that with that, along with Popovich making maybe the wrong play and not keeping Parker on the floor with the last 30 seconds left of Game 7, that might be another reason. But
or taking Duncan out when Bosch was on the floor. There was no one to box out Bosch. That's how he got the rebound. You're right. It is a total. I've always been. How many times have I said this in the studio? You win as a team, you lose as a team. You go down in a blaze of glory together or not at all.
Yeah.
Nobody ever wins, and I repeat, ever wins a championship by themselves. Even Michael Jordan needed John Paxson to knock down that 3 in Phoenix, or Steve Kerr against the Jazz, or Dennis Rodman to grab 19 rebounds in '96 against the Sonics. You do it as a team. Therefore, the blame does go around. However, your big guys need to show up as well. That's what it comes. Even Kobe Bryant. Let's say the Lakers would have lost that Game 7 in 2010, which I basically equate these two series together. 2013 Finals, 2010 Finals, Lakers, Celtics. Kobe went 6 of 24. Ron Artest and Pau Gasol don't have a good game. Who knows? Maybe Boston takes the crown.
Yeah.
So you need everybody to step up and play well.
You do.
But you mainly need your heavy hitters to deliver when it matters most.
You need everyone to step in at the crucial times, too. I mean, I think that's what it came down to. In Game 6 and Game 7, we saw it at the crucial times. The Spurs fell. And, I mean, that's what it was. It doesn't matter what it was. If it was bad coaching, if it was players not playing, they fell. And I think that's, at the end of the day, they don't have to look back at Game 6 and say, oh, we let this one get away. They have to look back at Game 6 and Game 7 saying that we had a chance with both of them and we let both get away.
Yeah, exactly.
And they only have to blame themselves for that.
No question about it. Because I think the Spurs, for the greater part of that series, were the better team. They were. Come on.
I don't know about that one. I mean, I think the better team won. I think the better team.
Because they swept the Clippers.
I think that the Spurs had a better coach, but the better team was Miami.
The Spurs had a better coach, but the better team was Miami.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it in paper, they have guys. Miami. Look at this. Miami had a team of guys that didn't even have the same height as the Spurs, and they beat them in a Game 7. So you got to look at it like this. They were the better team all around. They had guys that could perform and beat their bigs without having, that they were the better team. I mean, I will admit that the Spurs had a chance, and they were a great team because of the way they coached. Popovich has a great system, and if you follow Popovich's system, it works. I mean, we've seen it before. That's the reason why
that's why guys like Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard became relevant players. I mean, you're talking about two guys who had a major role.
Superstars win you championships.
Right. Exactly, and that's why the Spurs did not win it, and Miami did, because even Greg Popovich said in the post-game conference, he said, Wade and James had Hall of Fame-type performances tonight. Mm-hmm. Wade, and I like the fact that the TV's got the highlights going and we're talking. I think it's cool right now. Anyway,
so you can see everything that Chris is messing up on, by the way.
What? Hell out of here. Eric Small. I'm gonna miss you, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss you too, buddy.
I'm gonna miss these banters.
Yeah, right.
Anyways, Danny Green. You know what's funny? He was the leading scorer in the finals at one point. Guess what he did the last? Well, I know you're looking at it, but
2 for 19.
2 for 19 in 2 games. 2 for 19. Unreal.
I think they realized that Danny Green was the guy that was killing them. I mean, he was the thorn in their side, and you can't leave a guy like Danny Green that's been shooting over 43% from the three-point line open that often.
Miami did a great job keying in on him. I got to say that. I mean, the guy was just off rhythm. They ran him off the three, and he had some floaters in the lanes. He actually had some high-quality looks. The problem was with Danny Green was he's not comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
He's not like Ray Allen, where you run him off the three and Ray Allen could still make some things happen off the dribble. Green was nowhere to be found after that. I mean, it was. That's some great team defense right there.
And that's what makes the difference between LeBron and Danny Green. I mean, LeBron saw that that's what they were doing, and he adjusted. Danny Green might not be at that point where he could adjust yet to what the defense.
No, I mean,
gives
this
him.
is only, you got to understand, him and Leonard both, they are only in the beginnings of their career.
Yeah.
Danny Green had gotten cut from the Spurs like 3 times. He had signed 10-day contracts, and then they let him walk. This was the first year he had a significant role the entire season with the Spurs, and maybe the moment got to these guys. Definitely not to Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard was right there to the very end. 19 points, 16 rebounds. I'm telling you, that guy is Scottie Pippen.
You want to know a fun fact too?
What's up? Tell
Danny
me.
Green played with LeBron when he was in.
Yeah, I remember his
Cleveland.
rookie season after he just won a national title with North Carolina. He was drafted in the second round by the Cavaliers.
Yeah. So I mean. He's definitely been in the limelight of great people, and that's the reason. Might be the reason why he's so great. I mean, he's got great mentors that have coached him up. So, who's this guy that walked in, huh?
This is Robert Sepulveda, who just got engaged.
Oh, nice.
And he's a diehard Dodger fan.
Oh, congratulations! There you go.
Also, the bass player of 110 South.
There you go.
Yeah, big Rob, diehard. Hey,
is that
Rob? Check out the shirt, man, just for you today. There it is.
Where's your shirt?
Where's your shirt at, dog?
All black. Slacking. All black works.
You're slacking today. You're a slacker. All right, Greg Popovich. Now this was an interesting moment. Yeah, thank you, Ryan. There was an interesting moment after Game 7. Immediately after the clock had run out, the confetti comes down. Immediately, the team goes up to Duncan, gives him a big hug. Obviously, but Popovich was smiling.
Yeah, I saw
hugging
that.
Pop was hugging LeBron James, and then he hugged Dwayne Wade. He actually kissed Dwayne Wade on the neck, and he said, "Congratulations." I mean, that is called being gracious in defeat. But did he overdo it?
No, I think.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
why
Lon.
not? Why
Thank you,
not?
Lon.
I think about it like this. Popovich has had a great career, and even if he didn't win last night, I think he's looking back at it and saying, I'm going to have a great career no matter what. I'm going to be. He's going to go down in history as one of the greatest coaches, and even if he didn't win, he's still going to go down.
Four NBA championships, years of consistency.
I think Pop said it the best last night in his interview. I mean, he was happy with what his team did. I mean, I think at the end of the day, Popovich looked at his team and said, on paper, we probably shouldn't beat the Heat, but the fact that he could take that team to a Game 7 and do really well, I think he's happy at that. They gave him their all, and it's not like they came out and just totally S the bed, so to speak. But they came out and they gave a great effort.
No, they provided a great effort, and I think he appreciates the effort that LeBron and Wade brought out there. And he even when the press was attacking LeBron during a post-game or pre-game press conference with Popovich, he was always saying, you guys are the one that are creating all these problems for LeBron James. LeBron is fine. He's going to figure it out.
Yeah.
No matter what we do, great players figure it out no matter what defense you throw at him. And he's got the utmost respect. Thank you. Lon Stouts.
Lon Stouts, thank you, Lon.
With the brew.
With the nice
Thank
brew.
you so much. And I'm going to hook my man Steve up over here. Right here. By the way, if you guys want to access the show, we are on video live stream. Is that right, Steve?
Oh, nice.
Oh, we're not.
Oh, we're not.
We're not.
Oh.
Could not get the Wi-Fi to work in here.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. So we're gonna have to just record the show, and I will post it up on Facebook. I'll make sure everyone listens to who's not here, who couldn't be here today. It'll be on the podcast later. I see a couple special guests. We're gonna try to bring them up a little bit later on. We got the third mic over here. It's gonna be a little snug.
We have and also I gotta give a little shout out. Hold on one second.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead.
I gotta give a little shout out to my group of friends over there: Grant, Anthony, Tato, Christian, and Yaya's somewhere around here too. They came all the way from PV.
Hey, thanks for coming down today, guys. Everybody, thanks again. Maria Couch is sitting in the left corner over there.
There we go.
One of the great Warfingers that I have been privileged to work with. Thank you.
And she's wearing a DH shirt. I love that. Go Toros.
And you know what's funny? Hey, her husband, Cedric Couch over there, looks like he could be Andrew Bynum's dad right there. Look at
Yeah, tell him not to get injured when he's playing bowling next time.
I thought you liked these people, Chris. That was mean.
Oh, come on. He knows I'm kidding. All right, Cedric?
Don't worry, I get it all the time from him.
Cedric is a big hoops fan over there. I love talking with him when I can. Yeah, no, and we got Jeanette Argentine sitting over at the bar over there. So we got a lot of special guests over here. I'm glad everyone is here, and I'm glad that we are providing some support to the San Pedro Brewing Company, one of the best bars in town. So give yourselves another round of applause when you get a chance. There we go. John Bagakis over here, Big Next Pizza.
Yeah, John, I need to get more Clippers love over here. What's going on?
We're going to get into the Clippers a little
bit later. I thought we were painting the town red after this year. Come on.
Painting the town red. The only thing you guys are going to be painting the town is we're going home. You're going to paint that phrase. That's all you guys did. Your best season lasted 2 games longer than the Lakers' worst season.
He's on his Phil Jackson being a consultant horse. Don't get him too high.
Oh, this is good.
He doesn't realize that Phil's not going to coach.
All right, Eric. One last big topic for the finals. Tim Duncan and LeBron James. How are they going to be remembered? Keep in mind, this is the first finals ever lost by Tim Duncan.
Well,
and we saw how frustrating he was after he missed those 2 shots.
I could easily answer one of them. I could easily answer. Tim Duncan's going to go down as one of the best big men in history.
Is he the best power forward ever to play this game?
I wouldn't say the best. I think there's too big of a sample size. I'd say that he is one of the best. I would say he's easily top 3 for me. Easily.
Okay.
Easily.
So would you put him up there with Karl Malone and Kevin McHale?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And the fact that he has the resiliency to do it time in and time out.
Yeah.
I mean, we have still yet to hear about, Duncan retiring. I mean, we've heard more talks about Manu retiring than Duncan. And
Did you hear what he said after that post-game conference? He just they were just like, Tim, what are your plans after the season? You going to retire? I have a year left on my contract.
Yeah, I mean, he's not.
And they were just like, yeah, but right. So I'm going to be playing next year.
I mean,
they said, what about Manu? You're going to have to ask him.
Exactly.
Tim Duncan I had never seen him so angry, so emotional in my life. This is a guy who's got a face like stone. Yeah. Remember that scene in Rocky IV when Rocky's coming down, he's about to fight Drago, and there's like, he's got a face like stone? That was like Duncan every day of his career.
It was kind of reminiscent of when, the Boston and the Big Three realized that they weren't going to win it and they were going to lose the Big Three. I think that's what Duncan realizes, and I think that he realizes that at the end of the day, they had their chance to win it when they were all together. And now after tomorrow, after the next season, they're going to make some changes no matter what. Even if it's small changes, they're going to make some changes.
Well,
that big three that they have,
Ginobili, Parker, and Duncan.
It might not be there next year.
Yeah, but I think the fact that you got guys like Leonard and Green and how Popovich manages these guys regular
That's the
season
Spurs
minutes,
for you.
they could very well be competitive again next year.
They will.
I will say this: as long as Tim Duncan and Tony Parker continue to don a Spurs jersey, that team will consistently be relevant and in contention. You know, everyone's saying, "Oh, this is the end of the Spurs. This is the end of the Spurs." Yeah, where every year, everyone expects the Spurs to go down. They get better.
I think it's the end of the Spurs that we're actually seeing. I wouldn't say the end of the Spurs, but I think it's the end of the competitive Spurs.
Yeah.
I think that big three, that was their all. I think that when Duncan slapped his hands on the floor, I think you realized his frustration because he realized what was happening.
Yeah, I mean, now granted, I go back to that play. He missed 2 shots within 3 feet with Shane Battier. I'm not even a longer defender. And people are like, oh, that was such a big play. Okay, he would have scored it. Miami gets the ball back with 47 seconds. There was no guarantee just because he made those shots that the Spurs were automatically going to win. It would have put Miami in kind of a must-score situation.
Yeah.
But still, with the way LeBron was playing, I just got the sense, Eric. You get the sense sometimes, no matter how hard your team plays, and you know this as a Clipper fan, it's just not there.
No, it's
and
not.
last night, it just felt it was destined for Miami. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. You know, and going back to the 2 people that we were talking about, I had a conversation. Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem.
I had a conversation with all my friends. They were, my friends are diehard Spurs fans, or diehard Laker fans, and they don't want to see LeBron do well because the reason why that is because they love Kobe so much.
Right.
And I agree, but. I told
and
them.
the LeBron hate has got to stop.
Yeah,
it just has to stop.
And I told everyone, you can't doubt LeBron.
Yeah.
I mean, when LeBron is on your team, you have almost got to guarantee that he's going to do whatever it takes to win. And I think that we saw that last night. Now, going back to what you were saying about LeBron and Duncan, I don't even think we've seen LeBron to his fullest yet. So I couldn't even tell you what I couldn't put a exact what I think about LeBron yet because he's only at the mid part of his career.
No, he is 28 years old. 4 NBA Finals appearances, 2 championships. By the way, Miami became the first team since the 2009 and 2010 Lakers to repeat as champions. And they almost did it in the same way. Because the Lakers from 2008 to 2010 went to 3 straight finals, lost the first year to the Celtics, came back, won the next 2. It's almost felt like the 2013 Heat were very similar to the 2010 Lakers because in the sense, both those teams had to fight and claw and scrap and do whatever they can to win games in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree.
And you got to – I noticed that because I'm like, this reminds me of this series, or this reminds me of that series, or the way he shot was the way Kobe, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the only difference between that series and this series is that after the Lakers did win their second time, they repeated.
Yeah.
You kind of got the sense that everything might change.
Not necessarily. People thought with Phil Jackson, it happens in threes. He came back. People thought, can this team go to 4 straight finals and potentially three-peat? Even with Miami getting their big 3 together. Bosh, re-signing Wade, and of course adding LeBron James. But that Laker team, they just didn't have it. You could just tell they were completely worn out.
And you have to realize that there was also, there was more free agents at that next year that were on the market. I think that if the Miami had won back-to-back this year and next year, it would be very similar of what the Lakers and Boston were that 2 series because, 2014 is going to be, everyone realizes that 2014 after 2014, it's going to change.
Yeah.
The whole aspect of the basketball association is going to change. There's going to be people that go, to teams that we're not even expected. So I think that you have to look at the Miami Heat and say, they have another chance, and they have maybe the first chance of any team to go to 4.
They're an older roster, though. You got to look at that team, though. They're an older roster with Wade and his health not being what it is, and Bosh showing some inconsistency. Some guys on this team may even retire.
Yeah, I think they figure out what to do with Wade. I think that eventually what they do is that they're going to sit down Wade for even the beginning of next season, and they're going to bring him back. But
they got to start treating him more the way the Spurs treat a guy like Duncan.
I think Miami has a better chance than any team out there
to go to 4 straight finals.
Not
since the Lakers of 82 to 85 and the Celtics of 84 to 87 has a team gone to 4 straight finals. It has not happened.
Yeah.
It is yet to happen. Heck, some teams never even get back to the finals. Man.
Very true.
Yeah, so who else went to 3 straight finals? I know the Bulls of the 90s did. The Pistons from 88 to 90, they did that. But other than that, it's very rare.
It. Yeah,
it's rare to go to 3 straight finals. It's even more rare to go to 4 straight finals. So it's possible.
It's very possible.
And if they keep this roster intact, maybe tweak a few things, add some more size up front to go along with Bosch, maybe bring back Anderson, bring back a big man that could potentially score and be a threat on the post. Who knows? Maybe then they could compete with Indiana, because Indiana, Chicago, New York, they're going to be improving teams next year.
But no one's changing too much. You have to realize that a lot of people are waiting until 2014 to change.
Right.
No one could really change. I mean, the biggest...
Yeah, but you don't think Indiana could challenge them, though, next season?
I think they could challenge them, but I think that they're in the same position. I think that without a superstar with Indiana, they're in the same boat. I think that Indiana's a lot like the Spurs. I think they even draft like the Spurs.
Yeah.
They realize that they're a small organization, and they've got to draft within, and they've got to make the right picks. And I'm not going to say that Indiana doesn't have a chance. I mean, they take Miami to, they push them to the brink this year, but I just think that they're going to fall short again.
Yeah.
And I think that, Miami has the best chance just because they are keeping their same team, and their same team has obviously proved that they could win 2 years in a row. So
right. Yeah.
I think that, when you look at free agency, the two biggest players that are on free agency are Chris Paul and Dwight Howard, and I don't think any of them are going to leave.
Yeah.
So, there's not going to be much change next year.
We'll see what happens. We got a couple of special guests we're going to be bringing on soon, so hold your horses. Little homie is actually here. Long time
homie.
Sports Corner listener.
It is good to put a name to the face. There you go.
Thank you, little.
I can't believe it, I'm here. I can't believe it, it's you dudes, man.
Have a seat, little homie.
You want me to sit down or what, man?
Sit down.
Oh, you can sit down.
Sit down right over here. Put on these headphones.
This looks like a regular studio,
I think it's a little bigger than a jail cell.
Little homie, in case people don't know, he is a big asset to the community. And mainly the Compton Park community.
Hey, man, I'm working in Compton every day. I got a job at the recycler.
You got a job at the recycler.
and at night, I work in the Miracle, the marijuana place, I make the packages, make sure that everybody's cool. You know what I mean?
I got you, little homie.
Hey, man, you guys look cool. I like it over here,
Thank you, little homie. Thank you.
A lot of people here, too, man. Anybody got a cerveza? Orale!
I think they do.
Cervezas dos
Get the man a cerveza.
Hey, I just want to tell you, man, I'm disappointed about last night, I thought San Antonio was going to take it, man. I can't believe it,
Yeah.
Little homie,
I
trust
know
me.
you guys are into Miami, man, but I wanted to stay with the homies from San Antonio.
Little homie, I was watching the game last night at the lovely D'Ambrosi home in South Shores, and we were all rooting very hard. Oh, yeah, give it up for the D'Ambrosis. Erica D'Ambrosi, well represented over there.
Hey, man, do they smoke? They sound like a cool people,
I think they do, dog. I think they do. Orle pues.
I like it.
Anyways, but we were all rooting for the Spurs. Everybody was waiting for LeBron to choke, and I got to say, the guy must have taken a teaspoon of Jordan and Kobe Bryant last night, so...
Hey, what can I tell you, man? It rubs off on these guys. They were playing little badass, I really thought that game 6, man, it was going to be San Antonio. They won it, but they were going to win it by a few seconds, I thought they got robbed, man.
They got robbed.
Little homie, did you send them some little pregame gifts?
I tried to, man, but you know how it is, these narcos, man. Especially over there in Texas, It's not so liberal like LA,
Yeah.
Hey, little homie, what do you think before you get into little homie always prepares a poem. He's got one prepared here today since this is
someone told you, man?
Little homie, tell us what you think of this new Cuban sensation on the Dodgers, Yasiel Puig.
Oh, man, he sounds really good. I see him, man. He's a badass, He's my kind of player, man. It's too bad he's not from LA.
Very true.
Oh, yeah, no, this guy is really, it's almost reminiscent to what Mike Trout did for the, hey, Steve, I'm going to give an Angels a shout out. It's very similar.
Come on.
It's very similar to what Mike Trout did for the Angels last year. I mean, this guy is like Bo Jackson, Ken Griffey, and he actually has LeBron James's body type all combined into one.
Yeah.
This is a badass baseball player right here. And if the next few weeks are anything like what we've seen through the first few weeks, this guy's going to be changing the face of the game for the rest of the season.
Hey, I think he brought some stuff down from Cuba. You know what I mean?
He might have.
Powerful shit. Stuff.
Oh, man. All right, little homie, go ahead.
Hey, I wrote a poem for you guys that I want to read, because since I heard this is the last show,
You got it,
I wanted to prepare something cool, man.
Prepare it, dog.
Hey, this is called the Cristo and Eric Sports Corner. It's a poem written by yours truly, little homie. Hey, it's hard to believe the Sports Corner time has passed. We have all enjoyed your comments, sports, thoughts, and wish it would last. Your show had motivated, inspired, and informed. But now is the time for you to begin your careers, so transform. So remember all of those homies and nice folks, especially all of those funny characters and many, many jokes. Now let's stay in touch. Remember your goals and dreams, because your number one fan is still little homie.
Yeah. There we go. I like that, little homie.
Raise the roof, man. Come on.
Are we having a Compton Park party pretty soon?
We're going to have a party, man, on
there we go.
Wilmington Boulevard in Compton, man.
Oh,
so
there we
come
go.
on down and join me, you know, to all my friends and all of my new friends and all the other people. So come on down, man. Hey, you got to tell me where you guys are going to be playing the next show, or when you're going to start your new career, so I can hook up with you guys, you know?
You got it, little homie.
Yep. You know what? We're going to be hopefully we're doing this for much longer than just this. I mean, we have plans, and hopefully they actually work out. We want to be
Sounds
on
good
ESPN
to me, man.
someday.
Eric, that's cool, you know. Keep it up, man. You're doing a good job. I dig it, and I want to wish everybody a cool night, man. So stay calm, smoke a doob, and have a good time. This is Little Homie checking out.
Thank you, little homie.
Thank
My
you, little
song,
homie.
man.
We're on our way.
Come on, it's on its way. It's on its way. You're not leaving quite yet, are you?
Heck no, man. I'm going to get stoned over here. Party down.
And here we go. We got it. We got it. Here it goes. Yep. Is he hearing anything?
There it is.
Little homie.
Little homie checking out, guys.
One of the most devoted Sports Corner fans ever. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure, Little Homie checking out. Catch you guys later.
There you go. I mean, you got to give it to Little Homie. Again, the Little homie. I mean, he does it week in and week out.
Viva de los Mexico, huh, little homie?
I mean, he even calls us through the jail cell. I mean, you got to give it up to him in that one. I mean, come on.
Hey, real quick. Little homie, awesome. But I also want to give a shout out to Table 9 over there in the booth, camping out. Joined by the doc himself, Matt Archuleta, Rob Sepulveda, Ryan Vidicic, Julie Pelikova, Mrs. UCLA herself.
Oh, wait, Mrs. Julie, stand up. I needed to put a name to the face of Mrs. Julie.
Yeah, actually, Eric has a, he definitely likes.
I want to say hi to Julie. She calls in all the time.
Yeah.
There you go, Julie.
Julie B. Mrs. UCLA, and also a college counselor.
Roman High School, right?
Over at Crenshaw High School.
The Roman Knights, is that what they are?
No, now she's over to Crenshaw High.
Oh, Crenshaw, okay.
Yeah, well, she's moving a little more.
Moving on up.
And, of course, my brother, John Camello, a.k.a. Lon Stouts.
There we go.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, by the way, everybody, quick shout out. Their band, my brother Johnny's band, the Pinheads, will be playing tonight at Mickey Finn's in Redondo Beach at 10 o'clock.
Our stomping
grounds. Anybody who wants to go down, I know that table, Eric's table to the left, is going to be, yes, your stomping ground. That's basically the San Pedro Brewing Company of Redondo Beach. Yeah. So please head over there. They play great music. If you like black leather pants and white boots, Ryan Vidicic wears them.
There we go.
There he is. All right, so that's what we got going right now. So Clippers. Okay, Eric, take it away. Clippers are trying to trade for a coach. Now,
where do we begin with
Eric,
this one?
When I throw out the names Pat Riley, Bill Belichick, Ozzie Guillen, and John Gruden, what do you think of? What do they all have in common?
Success.
Yes, they have that as well. They've all been traded. It is possible to trade a coach. But Eric, tell me what's going on with the Clippers and the Celtics right now.
Well, supposedly right now there has been big talks. Everyone knows about it. The Clippers have planned on trading DeAndre Jordan for KG, which is not a very big deal. I think if anything, that is probably the most normal thing that's going on with that. But they have also talked about trading 2 draft picks, first rounds, for Doc Rivers. Now, everyone thought that was going to be a great trade. I liked it. A lot of people I know in Clippers I'm sure Bagakis over there loved it.
We're going to bring him up a little bit later
But unfortunately, we have a guy named Donner Sterling up there that makes some wrong decisions every once in a while. So, the league also had to jump in and say that, that we can no longer trade, or that you are not allowed to trade a first round for a coach, and that is now
they have an issue trading the contract of a coach. That's been the big holdup. I don't think it has anything to do with the first-round picks. On the Clippers end, it does.
Well, it has to do with the trade. Basically.
Right, but the whole trade itself, the fact that they were trying to trade the coach's contract and Garnett's contract together for DeAndre Jordan and 2 first-round picks, that's been the holdup of
and
this.
it's another deal of Stern just jumping in and kind of getting in the way of things again, kind of so to speak. I mean, and it's another time that Stern has gotten in the way. I mean, he's done this before with,
to the Lakers.
with Chris Paul.
So now you know how it
Lakers.
feels.
So yeah, I do. I'm kind of starting to show more sympathy for you.
Oh, thank you. Solidarity, brother.
A little bit.
Solidarity,
I still
brother.
love Chris Paul, and he's going to sign with the Clippers. But.
Little homie, thank you. Checking
Thank
out.
you, little homie.
Thank you, little homie. Hey, by the way, I like that hat.
Yeah.
Hola, Greater Los
Hola.
Angeles. Yeah. Which basically means he doesn't even have to say hi to anybody. He just walks up and look at the hat. Perfect. Anyways, but yeah, let's break down the original trade. It was going to be Rivers. There's been a lot of confusion. People said Pierce was going to be involved. Doc Rivers was going to be involved. Kevin Garnett. What was the deal? It was going to be DeAndre and 2 first-rounders for Rivers and KG. So they didn't even want Eric Bledsoe after all.
Well, I think that I also heard that the Clippers did not want to get rid of Eric Bledsoe. I feel like the Clippers really have a high order on Bledsoe, and I think that even if they are going to trade Bledsoe, I think that they realize that they could get more than just that pick.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. And there's been some talks, too, that Bledsoe could be traded to Orlando for Aaron Aflalo, which would address their starting shooting guard needs.
We've talked about that before. So, when I look at this, it's kind of the deal of the Clippers being the Clippers. I mean, they've got a gift wrap package in a way, so to speak, delivered to them.
You have a championship coach who knows how to develop young talent. I mean, this is the perks I got from Doc Rivers. Sorry to cut you off, Eric. You got a coach who can develop young talent. Tony Allen, Rajon Rondo, Kendrick Perkins turned into great role players under Doc Rivers. He brings vets together, Allen, Pierce, Garnett, got them to win a championship in their first year together. He emphasizes being mentally tough, physically tough. He emphasizes defense, and he knows how to put together a more efficient half-court offense. I mean, you got to do everything you can to get that coach, especially if he wants to come here.
And another thing that you didn't mention is the fact that he brings together egos, and I don't think that that's a thing that a lot of people don't have. That's a quality that a lot of coaches don't have.
Yeah.
I mean, you could know what you want to talk about and have a great system and totally be NBA savvy, but if you don't have that ability to get big egos, to mesh and to actually be on the same page, then you can't be a coach. And that's what Doc Rivers does well, and that's what Vinny didn't do so well.
Well, Vinny, that's one of his areas, and that's one of the more of the fine points of coaching. That comes with years and years of experience right there. Nobody knows how to, I mean, maybe Frank Vogel knows how to bring together young guys, but those guys are still developing. They're not veterans who have been in the league for 10, 12 years.
And a lot of them don't have big egos.
Teams. Yeah, exactly. They're still young guys. So, I mean, yes, knowing how to manage a team and communicate with guys and get everybody on the same page and see past their own individual talents. That's one of the great things that Rivers does well.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, we're going to...
Little homie taking a photo op, but he wants us to keep talking. Okay. President Danny Ainge has emphasized he does not want to buy out Rivers' contract. The remaining 3 years and $21 million on it. I'm going to smile for the camera right here. And does want to get something for it. And he's willing to take 2 first-rounders. I don't understand why Donald Sterling and that Clipper front office that features general manager Gary Sachs, why they are so adamant about holding on to these draft picks. You made the playoffs this year. You're not picking in the top 5. You may as well give up your picks because they're going to be late in the first round, and you're not going to get anyone that's going to necessarily address the need right away.
And the first thing that comes to mind when I actually think about that is the fact that I think Donald Sterling, in a way, kind of looks about the Clippers. He looks at the Clippers as the normal Clippers, and I think he thinks in his mind that the what if, we could be back in 2 years to the Clippers that lose it all or lose all the time. And I think Donald Sterling is afraid to make that jump of being a Jerry Buss, so to speak. And he's too afraid of giving away the things that you need to make.
There's a reason, Eric, there's a reason why this team has been in the state it has been for all these years.
And it's the owner.
It's because what? What did you say, Steve?
I was eating. I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
I think he wanted to say that it was the owner.
Yeah. No, I mean, seriously, that's what it comes down to. I mean, he's brought in, and it's never really been the coaches. He's brought in good coaches. They've drafted halfway decently. I mean, there's been a few busts over the years. Check Ramil Robinson. Check.
There's been
Michael
quite a few
Candy.
busts. Yeah.
Check Darius Miles.
There we go.
Yaroslav Korolev. Thank you, John. So John has had to endure the bad Clipper years just like you have, Eric.
I think he's
'Cause
endured
Eric,
more.
You've been a fan since what, 96?
Since 95.
95, 96. Okay,
Sean
so
Livingston.
Sean
John
Livingston is
Livingston.
John
another one.
Livingston.
Another one.
Well, that was disastrous because he actually had a promising career. He ruptured his knee, and
Darius Miles.
Darius Miles, I mentioned him. Yeah, they had a young nucleus that they thought was going to be able to compete for championships, and it just never worked out. But still, this is a move that could ultimately elevate the Clippers to maybe not championship contender, but pretty close to it.
Yeah.
Think about it. You trade Jordan, who I don't think his upside outweighs what Garnett brings to the team. Now, look at what Garnett brings. He's still tough as nails. He's a terrific leader. He knows how to win. He knows how to play alongside a great point guard. Him and Paul could do the whole pick and pop the way Paul did with David West. Not to mention, this is a leader who will get in guys' faces. And I think that's what the Clippers are missing because Chris Paul is just too nice of a guy.
See, that's the whole thing.
Granted, he is 37.
Well,
I do know
this
that.
trade, the whole thing about this trade for me, and being a Clippers fan, I feel like I have some good, hindsight. I don't like the KG for Dwight Howard, for DeAndre Jordan deal. I want Doc on my team,
Right.
but I don't. I think that you could get something better out of DeAndre Jordan than getting KG with maybe potentially only 2 years.
Here's the way I see it. Here's the way I see it. You trade Jordan, right? You trade the remaining $30 million and change for the next 3 years. I think it's $30 million straight up. 3 years. You get Garnett 2 years, and I believe $23 million left. Garnett delivers on his first season. Maybe it doesn't lead to a championship. He retires. He forfeits that remaining $11 million. Not only do you get a roster spot, you get $11 million in cap flexibility. You got to think about it from those lines because DeAndre, man, I do want to see that guy develop. But Eric, how long are you willing to wait? Because this is a team.
Well,
Chris Paul wants to win now, and he can't do it by himself.
I mean,
Nobody can.
technically, if you really think about it, DeAndre Jordan's only been on the team for 4 years, so we really haven't waited that long. And if you want to look at Kobe, you guys waited 4 years before
But not
Kobe
only
even
that,
played
Eric,
that
what
much.
does he do well? Look at Joakim Noah of the Chicago Bulls. This is not a guy, or Tyson Chandler. These guys made the All-Star team, and they're not even scorers. They rebound, they block shots. He does not do that well.
A 7-footer in the league is a commodity. There's not very many 7-footers.
Especially one that could run the floor.
And so my point being is that you need him. I mean, regardless if he doesn't perform, you would need him on your bench. I think that you need him on your bench because he fills a void that a lot of teams don't have. That 7-footer ability gives you a lot of things. It gives you rebounding abilities,
It does, but
especially
Eric,
combined with the athletic
he got
person.
wrecked in that Memphis
He did.
series,
He
man.
did. But
that
the worst,
is what's so frustrating.
The worst thing that you
He's got
want,
all the tools to be
the
a
worst
great
thing that you
player,
want is
though.
to get rid of a guy that has a lot of tools and him get better on the team that's going to beat you in the end.
Yeah,
So,
but that's the cost of winning now, man. The Lakers chose to allow Trevor Ariza to walk in the summer of
but you just said
09
yourself.
to bring in a slower, more seasoned player that can help them.
But you just said yourself, KG might only have 2 years, and you
Not
said
even. He may have one season.
and he might have one good season, which we don't even win the championship. So what's the point of getting rid of a guy that has so much upside that we have yet to see yet for a guy that might only have one good year and still not win it all?
Because I think either way it's an advantage. That way, let's say you go deep into the postseason. You go deeper into the postseason.
What's up?
Everything good? All right, good. All right, you go deeper into the postseason. However, I think that cap flexibility for 2014 could be a pretty good commodity.
I think you got to look at the Clippers like this, or if you're Donald Sterling, you got to look at the whole NBA like this. In 2014, there's going to be a lot of changes. And with 2014 coming means that there is not a guarantee that you will be able to win.
Yeah.
You have to look at the team that you have now and look at next year's, cast. We have a great a chance to win if we keep most of the cast and we make a few tweaks.
Yeah.
But
It could. But Eric, it's a risk. It's a risk.
I think
That's all I'm saying.
it's more of a risk if you get rid of him. I want Doc Rivers. I really do want Doc.
Right,
but
I think
that
getting a guy like Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, seasoned vets, Eric, I think that could be the difference for the Clippers to be more in a contention.
We already saw it with Miami this year. Being small is not the way to go. I mean, you saw it on their face. You saw it on Pat Riley's face a few times. He had the grimacing face of, wow, maybe I made the wrong decision. And I think that's what you're realizing after this year is that even though small ball does work, it's not the way to go. With that being said, I think that you need to keep DeAndre Jordan, even though you bit the bullet with a bad trade or you signed him to too much.
Well, you had to. You had to sign him.
Yeah, you need to bite the bullet because if you trade him and he goes off on another team, you know who's going to come back. You know who it's going to come back to?
It's going to come back to Sterling.
Exactly.
So in retrospect, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Well,
however, if you're damned if you do, meaning trade him,
I don't think you're damned if you do.
I do think the upside is greater because you can go out and then maybe go after another good quality center who could complement Blake Griffin. Or here's what you do: you trade, you make the trade, you get Rivers, you find a way to get Rivers, you get Garnett, right? Mm-hmm. You trade Griffin, you trade Bledsoe to the Lakers, and a sign and trade for Dwight Howard. Your front court is now Dwight and KG with Chris Paul in the back court. What about that move right there?
No. I said, you know what I said? And no
all right, John. And over here.
And no one has talked about it. And I actually
now.
want John's opinion on this. Why not talk to...
That's enough for the peanut gallery.
Why not talk to the Jazz, a team that you've already made multiple trades with, that you're on good terms with, trade him for Al Jefferson, who is a guy who's proved that he has a back to the basket, has some height.
Chris Paul does not want to play with Al Jefferson. Chris Paul wants to play with Dwight Howard.
How do we know?
Because he has come out and said that.
But you know what? Al Jefferson has a better chance. Listen, this is not Chris Paul's team. At the end of the day, as much as that is the truth, as much as he does have a lot to say, this is not Chris Paul's team. So at the end of the day, you've got to look at it as what's going to make my team better.
Right.
And I think that if you got rid of a DeAndre Jordan for Al Jefferson, that would be more realistic. I think that you still need to go for a good coach. I think Doc Rivers should be on the market, and you should go after that. But you should not lose a 7-footer who may turn out to bite you in the ass, man.
That's not a bad point, but you're playing it safe. Joining us now, the second man in our third chair tonight,
Big John.
John Bagakis of Big Nick's Pizza. Give him a hand.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
John, just like Eric, is a diehard Clipper fan. So we basically got a Pasquale sandwich going on over here. We've got two Clipper fans and a Laker fan right here. John, thank you.
That's
for
the
joining
first
us.
time the Clipper fans ever outnumbered the Laker fans.
Yeah, right?
I think.
Well, no, it's still pretty Lakers out there. Yeah, there we go. All
right.
John.
Yeah, but we know Laker fans. They're all fickle.
Do you agree with me? You got to sacrifice your future a little bit to win now, or do you agree with Eric? Let Jordan stay and develop.
I think when you're a team like the Clippers who have never had anything in their history and you have a chance to make a splash, you do it. You absolutely go for the splash because you have to put your name out there and say, hey, we're the Clippers, we're here, we're serious about winning. Getting a guy like Doc Rivers not only is a message to the current Clipper players and fans, but it's a message to future free agents saying, look at this team, look what they're doing.
Yeah, they are committed to winning. They're not just sitting on their laurels.
However, do you feel that KG for DeAndre is a great trade?
I do.
You do?
Because I think that even though DeAndre's young and should develop more, you have like I said, you have a chance to just make a splash and bring in absolute stars. And I mean, the fan base is going to explode. The team is going to be in just the most amazing position. They're going to be doing something that we've known the Lakers to do all these years. And now all of a sudden, here comes the Clippers out of nowhere doing a Laker move.
Yeah, my only thing is that I feel like the Lakers have always been a team that they draft. They don't draft old. I mean, the only time we really saw the Lakers draft old, it kind of bit them in the ass, so to speak. And I feel like the Lakers do draft, they make the big splashes, but they make the big splashes that are going to stay. And I don't know if I feel that if you get KG for DeAndre, he's not going to stay. So in 2 years, you're kind of looking at the same situation.
Right, but to go back to Chris's point, in 2 years you do have that cap space open up again.
Yeah, so I'm just saying,
like I said,
yourself a roster spot, Eric. You get yourself a roster spot, Eric, as well as $11 million in flexibility. That is a pretty good asset right there.
Okay, so let me put it this way. KG is what, 6'6"?
37.
No,
and he's 6'10".
No, he's 6'10"?
6'10",
okay,
6'11",
so
yeah.
he would be playing your center role if we took out DeAndre Jordan?
Unless you trade Griffin for Howard, then yes.
Yeah, but we don't want that. Yeah, so,
but think about it, though. He played the majority of his minutes last year were at center. Regular season, postseason alike, and it didn't phase him one bit. At this point in his career, bad knees, old age, a lot of mileage on his body, he plays the center because it doesn't require him to run up and down the floor and chase these jackrabbit power forwards. Am I right, John?
I think that...
Let him go ahead.
I think that if you look at Miami, let's put it in the realm of Miami. Miami had a 6'10" center, right?
Yeah.
Bosh, the whole season. In the playoffs, they struggled, right? And the reason why Miami got over the hump is because they had two great superstars, probably the best in the game, as LeBron James and Dwayne Wade.
Right.
Are you going to look at the Clippers and say that they have two superstars that could push you over the top if you got rid of a big?
Well, the problem with the big we have, though, is I see the aged big in Garnett coming in and doing a better job than Jordan. Because DeAndre in that Memphis series, what did he get? 3, 4, 5 rebounds a game?
Yeah, no, he was
Garnett
terrible.
does that in a quarter.
But
Kevin Garnett brings a toughness. Eric,
need outside scoring.
Eric,
that's what we need.
You are underestimating the toughness underneath.
No, I'm not.
Jordan
I'm not.
got bitched, man. I swear. This
did.
guy
He
was
did.
not
He did.
anywhere to be found. He was terrible.
But let me tell you this. DeAndre Jordan is not the reason why we didn't win the championship. If we got back by Memphis, which could be a possibility, DeAndre Jordan wasn't the reason why we weren't going to win it all.
Right.
The reason why we weren't going to win it all is because Blake Griffin couldn't hit outside shots and couldn't open
And
the
then we
paint
had the
up.
high ankle sprain.
That's the other thing with the Garnett deal
provides
is
spacing for Paul to operate.
But his shooting percentage has gone down over the years.
the other thing I see with the Garnett deal is don't you want to bring in someone that could actually take Blake Griffin under his wing and give Blake Griffin that development 1 or 2
The way
years
Chauncey
of
Billups
that.
has done it with Paul.
Exactly.
I do, but I feel like if it's only 2 years, I don't know if it's enough. This is the way I look at it.
What is your plan, Eric, for the Clippers long term?
My plan for the Clippers is to go young and to make good moves that are not going to jeopardize you in the long run. I mean, look, if you want to make KG, if you want to bring in KG, I understand that. I mean, I love KG. I'm not saying that it's bad. You're going through this whole process in 2 more years, maybe a year, because you might sign him for a year and then get a year option. If he doesn't join that option and he decides to retire, you're back in the same situation. And not only that, you have missed the 2014 season to get someone big. I say, if anything, you don't do anything this year. You keep DeAndre Jordan. If you can't get Al Jefferson, you stay that and you wait until 2014 until you can make a big splash, which is going to be
but
way
Eric,
more.
how are you
profitable.
gonna see? We've had this conversation before. It's so frustrating. If you keep Jordan, how are you gonna go after Al Jefferson? That doesn't make any sense to
It's
me.
a lot. Do you realize that with Jordan on the team, that we still have enough room for one max player, even
Right,
maybe
and
two,
you haven't
maybe two?
have you factored in Chris Paul's contract yet?
Yes, actually, a lot of people have the $108 million.
118
Yeah.
over 5 years, which is the same contract that Dwight Howard would get.
Right.
Yes.
I just think that they have to look at it from, like you said, the perspective of their history. And I usually agree with you more than I agree with Chris. But
it's
the
simple
Clippers have to
logic
make this.
here.
They have to do it.
I think you
have
get Doc. I think you get Doc, but I don't think that you get rid of DeAndre Jordan. As bad as he's played, I would love to have him as a Hollins role next year, rather than lose a 7-footer. I think that even though we've seen the center role go, you still need to keep it. And Miami showed that you need to keep it because for reasons that don't show up on the side. And that's the reason why. I know that DeAndre has not been the best. I'm kind of in a way being kind of apologetic to DeAndre.
No, you're a DeAndre, and you're definitely a Clipper apologist, but you're definitely a DeAndre apologist, which I don't understand. This guy has endured a lot of rough years, and even he is saying, sell out the future for now, right, John?
The plan of the future's never worked for us before. Look at, we've been 20, almost 30 years in
Do you
LA.
think that we could win with the KG and Blake?
You'd have a better chance with KG than you would DeAndre.
I think we have the same.
I do think they can win. I do think they can win. And I like I said, I look at the bigger picture. It just opens up the possibility of
guys
more
also-
free agents coming our way and saying, hey, this is a team. Yeah, the Lakers are there, but what's their situation like? It's kind of patchy, sketchy right now.
Right, of course.
This is the chance for the Clippers to make a name for themselves, and they have to do it.
Yeah, I think that you should go.
What are the Lakers doing? They're thinking about flexibility as well. They know if Dwight Howard walks, they may as well keep the same team as they would. We all right, Steve?
I think that we saw the Lakers make a bad decision this year, and I think it's coming to bite them in the butt.
Yeah.
So,
Your mic a little bit more forward.
you know, the way I look at this, and I agree with some of what John is saying, but I think that the Clippers don't need a defensive guy. They need to shoot. They need to learn how to get an inside-outside game. They need to learn how to open the paint up. And I don't know if that's going to happen with a KG. Another thing is KG has played on the East Coast against minuscule centers. I mean, his whole life. he's going to come to the West Coast and play against some great centers. Are you guaranteeing? Are you happy and are you confident on the fact that KG could go hand in hand 45 minutes with a guy like Dwight Howard, with a guy like Al Jefferson, with a guy like Marc Gasol? Exactly my point. So I understand that KG is a good pick, but he might only last half the year.
I think his intangibles, though, and still he's putting up 12, 13 points a game, 12, 13 rebounds, plus on top of his intangibles, off the versatility of his game.
Veteranship, is that what you're looking at?
Veteranship,
We've got
leadership.
so many veterans. We've got how many veterans on our team?
Brent Hill
3?
retired. Chauncey Billups is probably not going to be coming back. Who else is going to lead this team?
Chauncey Billups
They
alone.
need to re-sign Matt Barnes.
Yeah, they will.
And he's going to want a pay raise.
No, and that's the thing. Are the Clippers willing to bring back Matt Barnes after giving Jamal Crawford $5 million a year?
You have to. Matt Barnes is a key piece off the bench. You have to.
But however, though, I think there's a team out there that's going to be willing to overpay for him. That's my thing.
I think
there
so, too.
always is in the NBA.
There is, but you know what? I think that we are getting into the year, or into the age of players don't really care about the money. They do care about the money, but they also care about winning.
Yeah.
And I think that under Matt Barnes, he's got 2 kids in school, in a nice school in the Manhattan Beach area. He loves LA, because if he didn't love LA, he wouldn't have just jumped from the Lakers to the Clippers. He doesn't want to leave.
Yeah.
In his mind, he wants to stay, and where does he have the best chance of winning? On the Clippers or on some team that's going to pay him a lot and be able to spend nothing else and get no max contract? He has a better chance on the Clippers. He's going to stay on the Clippers. If anything, this is the way I look at it. I think my dream starting lineup would be, you have Chris as your point guard.
Chris Paul.
You put the combination of Matt or Crawford as 2. You go out and you get Ariza to be that 3 guy. That way that you can either trade for Barnes and Ariza when they get too tired also. You got Griffin as your 4, and you go out and get Al Jefferson. That's what I think.
Maybe. Ryan, just tried on your glasses for a second.
That's all good. Thank you.
John, thank you so much. John,
Thanks,
final
guys.
point. Final point.
Final point is just the thing is that they have a lot of options right now,
Yeah,
and as a Clipper fan that's suffered for so long, it's nice to actually be in this position to where, hey, we can make the big splash, we can keep our core together, go forward from there, but they have a chance to do something special right now.
Yeah.
My opinion is they should do it. To go back to what you said earlier, I would never trade Blake Griffin.
No.
I know
Bledsoe.
that it's so
Bledsoe.
tempting for Dwight Howard because they're,
The allure,
assuming Chris
the
Paul
allure.
stays, you're not going
Yeah.
to keep Bledsoe anyways. But Blake Griffin, you drafted him. You said he's a
got a
Clipper for
long
life.
upside.
You're not going to trade him. You have to kind of have that, show that commitment to your guys. And when you say you're not going to trade a guy and he's a Clipper for life, you have to mean it. And you can't. They should just take his name out of all these rumors right now.
And if you traded him after 3 years and you said that he was going to be your future, I mean, how long are you really holding on to the future? That sounds like another Clipper
I'm
move.
trying to tell you that. That's why you got to trade Jordan. John, thank
Thanks,
you so
guys.
much.
Thanks for having me.
pleasure.
Great show.
Thank you. John Bagakis, ladies and gentlemen, our Clipper extra analyst. Hey, by the way, go to his restaurant, Big Nick's Pizza.
Oh, it's great.
In
Great.
the Strip Mall Plaza, right next to between Channel and Pacific, right? Right, John?
Yep. By the skate
Yes,
park.
right
Yep.
by the skate park, right behind the skate park.
And let me tell you, if you want to go get a barbecue chicken pizza, I went there one time and
Hey, John.
I almost died. It was so great.
Hey,
I
John,
died
next
and went
time.
to heaven.
Hey, John, you got to tell that story next time. How you made like 100 pizzas for the USS Iowa. John Bagakis, one of my good friends, a great friend of the Sports Corner and diehard Clipper fan. And there you see him just strutting around right now. Anyways, thank you, Steve. How about Steve James right now?
Yeah.
Fixing the sound and everything.
Steve, are you eating those sliders over there? I see them just sitting there, and
Erica's actually getting hungry.
I'm gonna
right
eat
now.
them. I'm going to eat them.
Well, you guys keep causing problems for me. I don't have time to eat it.
Problems.
We're causing
We're causing
problems for you.
problems.
You've always been my most problematic show at this
Yeah,
point.
we actually have.
We are the Renegades.
Always making
Jake
fun
is
of me
up there.
and the teams that I
Well,
select.
technically, it's the show before us that is the Renegades because they always mess up the show for us. But I'll
you guys are
take
the
it
first
either
show
way.
in the morning.
Oh God.
Yeah, but so whoever's the show at the nighttime has just really left the treble too high, has left the door open one too many times.
Yeah, I know. And then we got to
Has
pay
left
for
trash
that.
in
we
the
gotta pay
studio.
for that the next day. We're over here right now, live at the San Pedro Brewing Company. Friday, June 21st. It's happy hour. Everyone's here having a good time. You got friends and family of both Eric and myself. We got a couple special guests coming on. We may have one or two more before the day is over. We got my grandmother, Angie Albano, 92 years old. Give her a hand. Grandma, I still love that 90th birthday party you threw. Yeah, that was beautiful. There she. Oh man. Anyways, but Eric, just a little bit, just to get it nipped in the bud. Clippers to get Doc Rivers is good.
I want Doc Rivers. I do.
Rivers,
I will agree
however,
with
though,
that.
you got to think about it like this, Eric. Don't go too crazy for him because you got Hollins, you got Byron Scott, Brian Shaw, all interested in taking that head coaching position. I believe those three guys would do an excellent job as the head coach of the Clippers. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I honestly think the Clippers can't go wrong either way. Their next coach is going to be a good one.
I've got faith in them.
Their next coach is going to be a good one no matter who they bring.
I think that the Clippers are on the right path, and I mean, even if they don't get this Doc trade, just like you said, it's going to work out. I mean, exactly. I think Shaw's another great pick.
Brian Shaw,
I mean,
former Laker, he's done a terrific job as the associate head coach of the Pacers. You know what Lance Stevenson said? He said, you know why I've improved so much from my second year to third year? It's been because of assistant coach Brian Shaw.
I mean, he needs to get a chance as a head coaching job.
As a player, 2-time as a coach. He has learned under some of the great coaches.
Yeah.
He emphasizes defense. He emphasized that triangle offense. He may not have the allure of a Phil Jackson, but he may be, you know how those assistant coaches come up under Popovich, like Mike Budenholzer? This guy could be just like that.
I mean, anytime a guy gets linked to, the triangle and Phil Jackson and potentially having a chance to come back and coach the Lakers because of that,
and he's
you got to give it to him.
And here's the biggest thing. He's a guy that people respect.
Exactly.
And when you have a coach that the players respect, like that guy's been there, he's done that, just like Byron Scott, then the coaches are more apt to playing with him, which is what's so surprising to me. Why did Cleveland fire Byron Scott? They gave him nothing to work with. 2 years in a rebuilding mode, and they fire him.
And that's
Actually, no, excuse me, 3 years in a rebuilding
Well, I
mode.
think you have to look at Dan Gilbert and you kind of think that he's got a few screws loose.
He even admitted he did not get a fair shake while in Cleveland.
Cleveland has got a lot of problems, and I think it starts from their ownership. But I mean, they're a team.
They got to be doing something right. They keep getting the first overall pick in every. By the way, the draft is next week.
And they still don't make it to the playoffs. So I mean, they're kind of doing something.
Yeah, but you know
what
though? They're doing a good job. They're building their team through the draft, and hopefully they'll have something like what Golden State had coming soon. So, anyway, we're gonna move on. Hey, where are my Laker fans at again? Let me hear you. I can't hear you. Oh wait, hold on.
No.
I got these headphones on.
Oh no!
All right, now say it one more time. We actually have some Laker news. We've been talking Spurs, we've talked the Heat, we've even talked the Celtics and the Clippers, but we have not talked the Lakers. Mitch Kupchak came out with a very interesting quote that he told Arash Markazi from ESPNLA.com, and he has said that Phil and Mitch have had conversations about the future of this team.
Shocking.
So Phil Jackson, everyone has talked about bringing Phil back. Remember during Shaq's jersey? Exactly. He's marrying into the family. He's engaged to Jeannie Buss, who is the VP.
Never mix business with pleasure. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you. But you got to understand, the Busses have always ran the Lakers like a mom and pop shop. So that's always how it is. But Phil, apparently, there were some very interesting quotes here. Phil and Mitch, who've always had a pretty good relationship, especially after Mitch took over for Jerry West in 2001 as the general manager of the team, and Phil Jackson has said they've bounced ideas off of each other. They've talked about the future of the team, what moves should be made, and they're almost treating Phil as an informal consultant. What do you think about that, Eric?
I think it's something that was in the works the whole time. I think that Phil honestly knew what he wanted, and he was just waiting for the exact thing. I mean, he knows. But, I mean, listen, let's go back to what I think about Phil and what I think about what's going to happen. Phil doesn't want the coaching job.
No, of course. Phil,
he
I
wants
don't think
to work.
will ever want to coach again.
Phil wants what Jim Buss has. And he's going to come at it until it is over.
So he wants to be what Jerry West was with the Lakers in the 90s and what Pat Riley is with the
If
Heat.
you're bringing in Phil now, Jim is only going to look over his shoulder every day, and he better, because you know what?
I think you're wrong.
No.
Because it was in the dad's will. Jerry Buss passed away, and the will said, my daughter runs the business, my son runs the basketball
Wills
team.
get changed from
Done.
time to time.
Oh, now you're pushing it.
I'm just saying.
If Mitch Kupchak wants to bounce some ideas off arguably the greatest coach in North American sports or in all of professional sports, why not? just because he's like an informal consultant, who knows? Maybe he'll have a formal position with the Lakers at some point. What's the problem with that? I don't think Jim should be.
I don't think there's a problem. I just think that knowing Phil and knowing what he's addressed before, and he wants more. It's like the AT&T commercial. He wants more. He just wants more.
Here was Phil's plan. I know a lot of people love Phil Jackson here. I mean, he was responsible for the last 5 Laker championships as head coach. He was going to become the president of the Seattle team. Remember that Seattle? Okay, I'm just saying what he was going to do. Sacramento
been nice.
Kings were going to move to Seattle, and Phil had an agreement with the owner, Chris Hansen, to say, hey, I am going to run this team. Phil wants to go somewhere where he can establish a culture. And everyone's talked about him about coaching. Is he going to GM somewhere? Is he going to be a president somewhere? I think right now, because of his attachment with Jeannie, and he's going to be getting married at some point very soon, he wants to stay. He'll always be a Laker, man.
Just what
he's
you
got such close ties to this organization. It's hard to see him leaving very soon, unless that ideal position comes.
He wants to establish an impact, exactly what you said. And by Phil Jackson establishing an impact, that means that he wants to take over the team.
Yeah.
Listen, just because it was on the will that Jerry and Jim should own the team,
No, Jim and Jeannie.
Or Jim and Jeannie, doesn't mean that that's the right thing for them.
No, it's
and that's what I have to say. I mean,
but look, that's what is in the. You don't understand something about wills, man. That's their father's wishes, and if you saw the Jerry Buss funeral, they think the world of their father, Jerry Buss.
They do.
Everybody thinks the world of Jerry Buss.
Until the team goes down, it goes down the drain, and then everyone's looking at Jim.
Look, what needs to happen is very simple. Jim, Jeannie, Phil, Mitch, come out with a press conference in a united front and say, hey, look, this is what's going on. Jeannie has to say, my brother and I are on good terms. We've put aside our differences. What?
Which they aren't.
No, they're not. They're not. There were some things that's happened in the past. I don't know. There's probably some other stuff that hasn't been reported. But in any case, Jim and his sister Jeannie are not on good terms for some reason. Now, many thought Jim and Phil were not on good terms. And Phil denied all of those reports. All he said was, I don't have much of a relationship with Jim Buss. He never said bad. He said, I don't have much of a relationship. I don't talk to him that much.
Which we all know is the Zen Master's way of saying I don't like him.
No. Listen to this. Phil got in depth about this. He said, we have spent time together on a plane, but it's always been casual. There's never been a deep relationship. And you can almost think about it like a friendship that you have. I'm not going to say any of these guys here because they obviously are very close to you. But think about a friend that you have that he's a cool guy. When you see him, you always say, hey, what's going on, man?
Yeah.
And you don't hang out with him. You just, when you see him, you say hi.
But there's a reason for that.
Not necessarily. It has nothing to do with hatred, that's for sure. Do you hate that person?
No, but I mean, I think that there's a reason why that you don't hang out. I think that there is either a conflict of friends. There's either someone that they don't, there's something that drives them away from the group. There's a reason always.
Is that why you don't call me in a hang?
Oh my God, I knew that was going down that path. I call you every day. I believe that we're going to a Dodger game this week.
Yes, we're going to a Dodger game.
There we go.
You and me. And we'll take Steve with us.
If it makes you feel any better, he never calls me either.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we know why we don't call you, Steve.
Yeah, Steve, come on. You're
gonna ridicule us about the Kings losing. We don't want to talk to you about that.
I didn't ridicule you. I just said they lost. I just stated the fact.
With the greatest smile on his face ever.
Steve James up here.
With a single tear of joy.
All I'm saying though, if it's not a bad relationship, then there's something that there could be growth there. That's all I'm saying.
The only way I look at, or the only thing I say about this is I think that for the Lakers, that's what you want. It's a step in the right direction, but it's also a step in the direction where you're going to have problems. I don't
know if you're going to have problems.
There are 3 guys. Well, first of all, you got to look at Jim. You got to look at Jerry, or you got to look at Phil and Jeannie. They're soon to be married, right? Yeah. You don't want to mix that. There's going to be too much arguments about what Phil thinks, what Jeannie thinks, and that's going to get in the way. And so that being said, is even if it does work, there's going to be a lot of problems. And then you want to put on top of that the fact that Jim and Phil, even if you say that they are friends and they don't hang out.
I didn't say they are friends. I just say they don't hate each other.
Well, and
like everyone thinks.
Put on top of that, Phil and Jim are still not on terms. So that's two conflicts that you could have. A possibility of 2 big conflicts that you have.
And another thing we're not talking about: where does D'Antoni fit into all this? Because who knows what Phil is saying in Mitch's ear? Like, probably like, hey, is this guy gonna be
you're not gonna.
running the same
You don't want to
time
get rid of D'Antoni because then you're just you're digging yourself a hole.
No,
you're
you
paying
don't.
already 2 coaches right now. You don't want to get rid of D'Antoni.
Yeah, exactly. If
So-
anything, they should try to just get D'Antoni to say, hey, look, as long as we have the type of players that we do, you've got to coach the way you did last year when we were 28-12.
You have too many people in the main offense. That's what I think. If you either have to let go of Jim or let go of Kupchak.
You're not
if
gonna
you,
let go of Jim.
No, but if
And
you
you're
want,
definitely not gonna
so
let go of
so
Mitch.
then you're not going to get Phil. That's the way you got to look
No,
at it.
I'm saying Phil serves as a consultant.
Yeah, but
they
he
have
doesn't.
the three-headed
He
monster.
doesn't want that. If Phil wanted to be a
Clearly
consultant,
he does because he wouldn't be bouncing these
but
ideas off
he
of
also
Mitch.
I'm sure has the thought that maybe he could bring his way up. If Phil really wanted to be a consultant of LA, he would have took it right when LA asked him to be. And the fact that he waited and he strung them on and took all those other job offers and went to Brooklyn to go test it out and went to Toronto to go test it out means that he wasn't satisfied.
No, he was looking at a more prominent position, but now that he's just sitting there doing nothing, he's still close to the organization by default.
He's
so
the guy-
obviously- and Mitch and him are still very close.
Let's put it this way. He's going for his rebound team. He's a guy that just gets off a long breakup with the team. The girl doesn't want to take him back, so what does he do? He goes to another girl, and it's a rebound girl. It's a rebound team. That's what it is. And that's what you have to look at.
But I think just by default, the fact that he even admitted it himself, the fact that I'm engaged with one of the part owners of the team, I'm always going to be associated with this organization.
But you're either stepping on Jim's foot
I don't
or
think
you're
so.
stepping on Jenny's foot. Because if he's going
Well, then
to...
that's got to be established then.
and that's going to be very hard to establish because of the situation at hand. You've got
We'll see.
3 family members working all together. And another guy that's known your dad for his whole life that has a lot of say in Mitch Kupchak. So who do you give it all to?
That's a tough call. I mean, look, I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong. I just think it's an easier fix than I think people are giving it credit for. Granted, Phil is not the easiest guy to get along with. Remember in Chicago, he hated the general manager, Jerry Krause.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they made fun of him. They hated him. That's how, they were talking about that on 710. That's what made the Bulls kind of come together.
Yeah.
Was their hatred for Jerry Krause. So, I mean, I think Phil, if he's on good terms with Mitch and he's not on bad terms with Jim, a relationship can grow there. And they can all talk to each other and get on the same page about the future of this team. Because Phil is a knowledgeable guy. You'd be stupid not to listen to him.
Yeah, I mean,
That's all I'm trying
that
to
is
say.
very true. And
Yeah.
I will agree with you on that.
And I think that's what they're doing now. They're just having conversations. It's probably like this. You be Mitch, I'll be Phil. Hey, Mitch.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing? How's the summer looking so far?
Well, we've got a kind of a bind because we don't know if we're going to bring Phil in for the consulting job, if he wants more.
No, I'm Phil.
Well, so exactly, I'm saying we don't know if we want to bring Phil in because he might step on other people's shoes.
Right, yeah.
We don't know. So
Yeah.
we do want his insight, and we do think that he's going to be a great asset to the team. But we have a feeling that it might also intrude on the team.
Well, I'll always be around. I don't know if I'll always be in a formal position, but I'll try to see if I can help you guys out. We could talk. No charge. Not yet.
And I would say, Phil, I want to be part of basketball productions. I don't want you to step on my toe in basketball productions.
fine.
Are you okay with having the fact that you will just be a consultant? We will look to you as maybe the 3rd, 4th ring.
Yeah.
And even though you do have a say, if your main say we don't agree with, we're gonna nullify it,
Yeah.
and you have to be okay with that.
Well, let me think it over. But in the meantime, I'll always be associated with this organization.
Yeah, the way I look at it is that, and I like that. I like that, by the way. I like the duo that we had right there.
Yeah,
Phil,
that was a nice little banter. See, this is what you guys have been missing over the last year and a half. Me and Eric's banter.
But I've got to say this: that I don't see it working. I don't see it working in the right way. I think that if Phil is going to take over Lakers, he's going to have a higher position than just consultant.
Yeah.
And I think that Jim does already know that, and he's either said, "Okay, I'm okay with that," or there's going to be problems in the future. And that's where I stand.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. But I thought that was very interesting that Phil was candid enough to come out with those comments about Jim and refute all those reports that people thought Phil hated Jim or there was a problem there with the organization. Clearly there isn't. And they're just going to have a staring contest that.
Yeah.
It's almost like a girl you want to ask out.
It's a Mexican standoff.
No, but exactly. More or less, it's like a girl you want to ask out, but you're like too shy to do it. But she wants to ask you out too, but she's too shy.
Yeah.
It's like, so,
It's like
this. You wanna
it's
go to
like
the
high
dance
school
with me?
prom.
You want to go to the dance with me? Only if you want to go with me.
It's
similar
it's like high school prom.
It's similar like that. By the way, that back booth is getting pretty.
Yeah,
crowded.
I mean,
Look at that.
is there a capacity at that back booth? Or
Look at that. Look at that. Sarah
I don't know.
Salter, also a Dominguez Hill alum, just
You gotta.
walked in.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, Sarah.
I think we have to
Go.
call
Hello.
Toros. There
Toros.
we go.
There you go. Yeah, she'll hopefully be graduating sooner than later, right, Sarah?
There we go. Hey,
goes Rima.
it doesn't matter how you finish. It's not a race, right? You know.
Ask Eric. He's been in college for like 15 years.
I followed the
think.
Van Wilder, whole Van Wilder aspect. You know,
Yeah,
that was
you know
me.
what? You know what? That's actually not
But it
a bad-
worked,
bad
you know,
idea. I should
so-
have done that too. I was on the simple 5-year, get in, get out.
Well, I was on the 5-year, and then things strayed.
And then 10 years happened.
What was that, Steve?
He was on a 5-year plan, then 10 years happened.
Yeah. But hey, we're not going to 10. We're going to 7. Okay. It's not that far.
Sorry.
Oh, man.
And 5 of them were in junior college, so it was okay. So
All right, we're going to get into some Dodger talk. Where are the Dodger fans at?
that's something that we could all agree on, right?
Yeah,
Besides Steve over here.
Except for, hold on. For Steve, where's the Angel fans at?
Right there.
Crickets. At least I got one guy to say yeah to the
The one
Clippers.
guy was me.
No,
Oh, man.
No,
I'm
John
sure-
Bagakis is over here, the Clipper fan. Come on.
Go Hayes. God, not only does he not like the Angels, he likes a divisional rival of yours.
It's all right.
It's
First
all
Amendment rights. He can
right.
like whatever he wants. I don't care. First place.
Yeah, that's why
For
your guy
now.
got thrown out at the plate, John. John McGack is still here in the peanut gallery, hanging out. Oh, man. All right, so Yasiel Puig, 2 home runs in his last 2 games. In fact, he hit a home run on the first pitch last night.
Yep.
Unreal.
And it was the only hit of the night.
The only hit of the night, he struck out 3 out of the next 4 times that he went up. But so far, Eric, look at these numbers. They're confounding. 6 home runs, 12 runs batted in, 452 batting average, a 790 on-base percentage in what, 13 games?
16 games.
16 games.
Yep.
Wow. That's similar to what Mike Trout did last year, isn't it, Eric?
Not even that, and I'm not Eric, by the way.
Right, Eric?
In Trout's
Right, Steve?
first 16 games, he was only hitting about $150. So what this guy is doing is unbelievable.
I mean, in a way, I think we're kind of witnessing the new Venezuela mania. You know,
The guy's Cuban, though.
Yeah, but in a way, I think that's the new aspect. I think that we've seen what happened during Fernando Venezuela's days is happening now for Puig.
You're talking about Valenzuela. You said Venezuela.
Venezuela.
Valenzuela.
Oh, you got
I think
Fernando
that's what you
mania.
meant, yeah,
The
all
Fernando
right.
mania.
Okay.
Valenzuela, yeah.
I think we're seeing the same thing. I mean, if you think about it, Dodger Stadium was never filling up until Puig until Puig came into the Dodgers. And if you look at it, I mean, we were having one of the worst seasons to start
Oh, man.
ever. So
And now they're still losing, but it's exciting because this guy is up.
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the
Our
Angels-
worst season
yeah.
was better than your worst season.
Oh, we're getting into this over here.
And there he is, Uncle Tony right there. Tony
How's it
Camello,
going?
active. Window task force. What, did you end your day early, T?
There
Oh,
you
there
go.
you go. All right, he's coming to come see us. Thank you for coming down to the wonderful San Pedro Brewing Company. It's
not a
still
bad-
happy hour for another hour and
Yeah.
15 minutes.
It's
so.
not a bad place to come.
Yeah, come get your slider. How are those sliders, by the way, Steve?
He doesn't know. He's only 8-1.
That one was delicious, by the way.
Yeah, actually, it really was good.
That one was
Well,
amazing.
Steve's done an amazing job on our sound today. All this equipment, courtesy of KDHR. So yeah, he's done a good job. But yeah, go back to Puig. You were saying?
I was just saying that it's like let me excuse myself. Fernando mania.
Fernando Mania, yes.
And I think that it's actually very much like that. I mean, if you look at the Dodgers, there was nobody filling the seats. Now everyone wants to come see Puig.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so big that the fact that Ethier is no longer taking right field, and even if he does, they're finding a way to put Puig in the lineup and have Ethier play a position that he doesn't normally play.
And that's a big thing too, because people are saying, what do you do with one of these outfielders when Crawford comes back, when Kemp comes back? Because these guys are making too much money to just put on the bench. Who is the odd man out? Because obviously Puig is not going to be platooned. He's not going to be benched. Someone's got. You can only have 3 outfielders. Who sits?
And I actually thought about that for a while, and it's a toss-up between Kemp and Ethier. Even though you're paying Kemp a lot, Kemp has not produced, and he's gotten better right before he had his injury. But still, I mean, he's hitting under 300, which is not expected for your third hitter or your fourth hitter. And Ethier, even though he has come on strong in the last few games, he's had a pretty horrible season too. So I mean, it's a toss-up between those two, and whoever can get their act together first is going to be the one that starts.
Well, Ethier is starting to come on a little bit. 9 of 19 in his last 5 games, 4 runs batted in, a couple of doubles. He just looks a little bit more comfortable at the plate. Hanley Ramirez also coming into form. 8 of 12 in his last 3 games. 2 of them were at Yankee Stadium. A home run, 4 runs batted in. Looks like he's not showing any ill effects from that hamstring. But to help us, Eric, you said you had a friend who's a Dodger fan.
I do. I have a big Dodger fan over there. His name is Ricardo Huete, but I don't know. He's over there. I don't even think he's listening.
Hey,
Ricardo Huete,
would you like to join us?
Would you like to join us?
Over here?
You want to talk some Dodger talk?
Yeah, we're going to bring Ricardo up.
Ricardo is one of the biggest Dodger fans I know, and if you want to, actually, the both of them. If you want to talk to any Dodger fan that knows the most about sports, Ricardo and Christian. Christian's over there wearing the Dodger shirt.
There he is. How you doing, Christian?
They are great Dodger fans, and I mean, I think that every time we hang out, I'm pretty sure that we have a Dodger conversation. And
Ricardo, thank you for joining the show, man. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you guys.
How you liking the show today?
Dude, it's been awesome. This location is awesome. You guys are putting on a great show.
Thank you. Over here at the fabulous San Pedro Brewing Company, and where?
In San Pedro, California.
There we go. Very good.
That's a trick question, yeah.
All right, Ricardo. So Eric obviously thinks of you as a big Dodger fan. We talked about this on the phone. What has been the problem? The talent is there. The starting pitching is there. Of course, they spent enough money for it. What has been missing from this team, in your opinion?
For as surprising as it sounds, and hasn't even been their offense. I mean, injuries obviously have played a part, but when you have league leading, I think it's 16 blown saves, it's obviously the bullpen. When you don't have a setup man, they've had to move Jensen from setup man down to to the reliever part, to closer. That's where it all starts, and that's where it all ends. I mean, you take half of those 16, you say, okay, we win 8. At that point in time, we're almost at 500. We're competing for the division. Right now, still 9 games out. I don't think we have a chance until we get a better bullpen.
Hey, we need players, so I'm sorry. No matter
What was that, Cedric? Hold on, Cedric Couch wanted it.
no matter what field does, we need players.
Yeah, you're right.
That's true.
On the court.
Yeah. Oh, he's talking about the Lakers. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Thank you, Cedric Couch and Maria Couch.
Yeah, that's
beautiful, baby.
We'll dig into that.
Yeah,
if we have another show.
But you're right though. The bullpen has been a major issue. As much as it's been bad offense, inconsistent offense at times, and they have lost a lot of games. 41 losses. You could basically say half and half. It's been the bullpen. It's been a little bit of the starters, mainly in the back end of that rotation with Fife and Lilly and Capuano, but it's been that bullpen.
Well,
those are starters.
When you have 30 other teams in Major League Baseball that have 5 starters, and you have the Dodgers with 3, I guess that's going to be a major problem as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think I look at the Dodgers, and I think I look at them as they're the Lakers of this year. I mean, they've had so much injuries that have plagued them, and then when they actually do come back off injury, it's they're not gelling. They haven't had enough time to coexist together.
No, there's been a lot of injuries so far,
and
everyone has had the same issue. Hamstrings have destroyed this team.
That's something that you got to look into too. Where I mean, it's kind of funny, but you have to look at the training staff. It's you have 4 or 5 players that are going down with hamstring injuries in the same year. Are you just not stretching enough, or is the system that you've set up not working? I mean, it sounds kind of funny, but you even have to look at the training staff. You have to look at, I think her name is Sue, and what
Sue Falcone.
Sue Falcone, and what she's doing. And whether or not it's effective. But obviously right now there's too many holes, there's too many problems. Unless something gets done, Puig has been a shot in the arm, but it's a temporary fix. Last night he struck out 3 times, 4 times. So it's like we might start seeing that a little bit more, where you can see sliders away and fastballs.
I think another problem for this team that's going to affect them getting back in the standings is going to be where are the wins against teams in your own division. They have gotten smoked by teams in their own division.
Yep.
The Diamondbacks have owned them. The Padres have played them tough. The Colorado Rockies have played them tough. The Giants have swept them. I mean, it seems as though this team cannot beat anyone in their own division, and it's a soft division.
Well,
3 weeks from the All-Star break, and we have 9 wins in division. I think.
And that's another thing. I think a lot of people look at our division and they say it's very weak. You have to look at our division as a whole. We have been one of the best in the last decade, and we've been one of the best, best divisions out there. I mean, if you look at the last 4 World Series, who were in them?
Yeah, 3 have been from the NL West.
Exactly.
It's kind of funny because they might not play the rest of the league, tough, but when it comes down to it, that playoff team always seems to make it to the series.
Yeah. No question about it. And so far, what's disappointing to me has been the bullpen. I called it a point of emphasis, a point of strength to start the season, and that combined with the bad inconsistent offense, it just has not been very good, man.
I thought it was going to be the same thing. I thought the bullpen was actually going to be one of the strengths, and even it was going to make up for the starting pitching. They went out with 8 starting pitchers to begin the season. They let go of one of them. They traded Harang, and since then it's just been downhill.
Lily went down.
I mean, it's just injury after injury.
And I want to say that Harang was a big deal to that. I don't know if we should have really got rid of him so early. I think Harang. I think that he could have.
Have you seen what he's done in Seattle?
It doesn't matter. He went. I've always said about a pitcher that goes to a different league. That year,
Yes, that is true.
And actually, league is another pitcher that has done that. He's gone to another division, and he hasn't done that well. So I don't know if it's that. I think that you have to look at Harang, and we dropped the ball on that one. We should have kept him. And even if he wasn't going to be producing that well, and even if he's not having his best year, he would have done better than our bottom half.
It's almost serviceable comparison to the 3 or 4 minor leaguers that they've had to plug into that fifth spot.
Yeah, no, League was definitely disappointing. You brought him in $27 million over 3 years. I said that was a dangerous contract for a guy who was not producing in Seattle. However, at the time, he did such a great job. After Jansen went down with that heart problem, he did a great job closing out games. However, I don't understand why they automatically put him into the closer role in spring training. They should have said, thanks, buddy, but Jansen will take it from here. Put him in a setup role the way the Phillies did with Lidge. Remember Lidge? And that's basically swapped. So, yeah, it was definitely disappointing to see that. And so far, the Dodgers have paid for it.
And we're 3 weeks away from the All-Star break, and the Dodgers don't really seem to grab any traction. They're still waiting for injured players to come off the disabled list. Who knows if that'll happen? Hamstrings are a questionable thing to begin with. Yeah. And there's just way too many things way too many variables that you throw in right now for the Dodgers to even really be considered strong contenders for the NL West, let alone for anything else.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Ooh.
Oh, boy.
What do we have here?
A couple shots here that we're going to take.
That's not good.
I think this is going to liven up the
the
show right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Julie P. Go UCLA
Julie!
in the College World Series. Are you leaving,
Nice
Julie?
to meet you.
Are you leaving? Or are you staying? Oh,
no,
beautiful.
she just wants to say hello.
Oh, no. Well, it's usually when people come up here, they're usually saying hi or bye. Oh, thank you. Julie Pelikova, Mrs. UCLA Bruin right here.
There you go, Bruins.
Oh, okay. Mike Morello will love you then. She's a Packers fan, Mike.
Wait, are you a shareholder too?
No.
Right on.
Okay, there we go. We've talked about this. All
right, guys. Final question, final segment for you, man. Should Puig be an all-star?
No. I think that Puig, what he's done so far has been spectacular, but I don't think that he has enough of a table. He just doesn't have enough of backs yet. He has not enough sample size. That's exactly what the words I'm looking for. What he's done has been great. What he might do in the future is going to be great, but you can't give him an all-star berth this year based on what he might do next year. It's what the players have done this year. Granted, all-star voting in itself is not the most of exact sciences, but Puig doesn't deserve to go. Not yet.
Eric, your rebuttal.
Well, no, wasn't Harper kind of in the same situation a few years back?
Harper and Trout. Throw Trout in there last year as
so,
well.
I think you have to look at it like that, exactly what you said. I'm on Rodrigo's page. I think that he's a great player, and he's going to be a great player. We're going to see a new age of Puig that's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
But he's not there yet. And to bring someone into the All-Star game, as prestigious as it is, with only playing 16 games, or playing at the time what he's going to play when the All-Star game starts, he's going to play 27 games?
Yeah.
It's not enough.
It's not enough.
It's just not enough.
Yeah.
So,
no.
And that's the way I look at it. You got to have a bigger sample size, and if you're not, then you're kind of dishonoring the All-Star game.
Yeah, you are. And Bruce Bochy, the manager of the Giants, said Puig should not be an all-star. I'm sorry.
No, he did say that. He was I
don't really want to manage that Cuban defector kid, man.
He might have said it a little bit different. You might be paraphrasing a little, but yeah, it was something like that.
It was something along those lines, right?
Something like those
right,
lines.
Rodrigo?
Yeah,
hey,
sure.
Rodrigo, thank you so much for being
No,
on.
it's
man.
my
I
pleasure,
appreciate
dude.
it.
Have yourselves a great day. It's been awesome.
Hey,
Rodrigo, that was awesome.
You guys are awesome.
I'm sorry to put you on blast, Rodrigo, but
Hey,
you know
give it
what?
up for Rodrigo, everybody.
You know the best about Dodgers baseball.
Hey, I'm looking at that table. Give it up for your boy. Thank you, Mike Varela. All right. Hey, Steve, you want to boost those speakers just a little bit? Just a little bit.
Just
There we go. A little bit.
turn the snare up on my headphones.
Yeah, there it is. There, we're back. We're back, everybody. All right, here we go. But yes, anyways, in this whole wake of this Puig stuff, what have we learned about the Dodgers so far? And Eric, why is there a dark cloud over Los Angeles?
I mean, there's a dark cloud over Los Angeles because this is not the first team to have the hype and not live up to expectations.
Right, but I mean, you can even throw your Clippers into the conversation.
I mean, you could throw every LA team in there, and now you could even. I wouldn't say throw the Kings into there because they had great.
Kings actually reached the
But
conference finals.
in a way, I think you can just because the city still had great hype and them winning. So
Yeah.
I think that for LA, it's the dark clouds over LA's head because we've had a lot of teams that have been great and they fell a little bit short. I think that as for the most part, if you really want to look at the teams that fell short, it's got to be SC, it's got to be the Lakers, now it's going to be the Dodgers. And
Yeah.
I think that the way to get out of it is, and we've talked about this before, is the Dodgers didn't do enough in-house cleaning. They did a lot of outhouse cleaning. They got a lot of big names.
Right.
They got a lot of guys that will do you good. But if we've looked at the Giants and we've learned anything from the Giants, it's not the big hitters that win you. It's
the pitching.
It's the
and then it's
bullpen.
the timely hitting.
Yep, and it's the guys that are going to get you the on-base percentage. That's what gets you. I mean, it's in a way, it's a bummer because Moneyball is kind of like, the way that you really should do it.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I mean, look, we all have seen not just the Dodgers, so the Angels and the Blue Jays in there. These were teams that everyone expected to take their divisions comfortably. Mm-hmm. And now we've all seen every one of those teams struggle and be below 500. The pitching's been bad. The pitching has been bad. The hitting has been inconsistent. The bullpen has been inconsistent. So all three of those teams that had high expectations coming into this season, it just hasn't been there.
Yeah.
It just has not been there. So I don't know really what to expect coming the rest of these final months of the season. But if the Dodgers and Angels, or both of them, one of them, whatever, if they do not get their stuff together, then that's going to be a very, very salty winter. And I don't even know what to do there. I mean, both of them are way over with these bad contracts.
Point. Now is the turning point. Earlier we were talking about it. It's early in the season. There's a lot more baseball to play. Now we've gotten to 70 games played around.
Right.
It's time for them to perform. And if they can't in this next month, I think we're going to see what is to foreshadow the Dodgers and the Angels. And sadly, I hope it's not a dark cloud.
Right. I hope so. I hope not either. But only time will tell what happens with the Dodgers tonight. They're in San Diego. And hopefully
where they got shellacked last night.
Yeah, they got shellacked last night. They got doubled up 6-3. Hopefully they pick it up soon, because if this team does not, they're going to get themselves in too deep of a hole where nobody can get out of it.
And another thing, leaving runners in scoring position has got to change for the Dodgers.
Yeah,
it's been
can't
something
do
that has happened with all the players that we've gotten over the years. It's never changed. The Dodgers have left the most runners on base. I feel like any team. I know that I watch the Dodgers and I'm kind of biased, but
yeah.
It seems like we get these guys to to change that, and they don't. They get too content of being in LA or whatever it must be. But that leaving hitters in scoring position can't happen. You can't have 5 runners in scoring position and lose the game by 2 points. It's just
no, you can't. And like I said, the bullpen has got a lot to do with that. Guerrero, Belisario has been atrocious. Jansen has had a couple of hiccups.
Timely hitting.
Has got 4 or 5 blown saves, but they've left too many men on base because now these guys come in, instead of dealing with a 4 or 5 run lead, they're dealing with just 1 or 2 run lead. So the margin of error is so thin.
Yeah.
And so it's as bad as the bullpen has been. I think it's also been the offense as well.
It has. It's a multiple.
You hope when some of these guys get healthy, mainly Kemp, he comes back and finds that power, because if
Yeah.
he doesn't, this team is going to continue to struggle, even though they have good hitters like Gonzalez and Ramirez.
And so is my fantasy team. So, Kent, you better start performing.
Yeah, no question.
I need a win. I'm right now sitting in 6th place, barely holding on to the playoff spot.
Yeah.
I need some wins.
Absolutely. Steve, what do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's some bad times right now for everybody. Because, like you said, it was really funny because there was an article I read about the Angels and Dodgers during the Freeway Series, a battle of who spent more money and who's in a worse position than the other. Because that's really what it is about.
Yeah.
And like you said, on paper, these teams should be performing way better.
But paper
No, of
doesn't
course
win
not.
it.
Of course, yeah, exactly.
paper doesn't tell the whole story.
You've tweeted, Steven here has a Twitter. He has talked about how bad Josh Hamilton has been.
Oh, God.
And, I mean, a 214 average. What, he's got 8 or 9 home runs?
His batting average is down to 209 now.
209. How many home runs? 9?
11, 10.
11 with
Not
what?
enough.
25 runs batted in?
30, maybe.
30.
Generously.
Not even 30. So
Why-
he's actually been worse than Andre Ethier.
He's been bumped down to number 7 in the batting order.
Why
Rightfully so.
can't these teams realize after 3 years now of great pitching teams winning? Why can't they realize that we need to invest in pitching, not hitting? I mean, I understand hitting is great, but pitching wins.
Pitching wins, as we saw with the Giants last year, as we saw with the Detroit Tigers.
I mean-
you need starters, you need relievers, and you need timely hitting.
I mean, if for you guys, you know about your back end of your bullpen. I mean, you had problems with Madsen, you had problems with everyone pretty much in the back end.
Well, Madsen still hasn't pitched
exactly.
yet. That's the problem.
You know what it's like.
Sean Burnett's been out for a while. He
You
was
know-
the guy that you looked at. to
But
be
when
a
he's
good
in,
hitting guy.
he's fairly decent.
Yeah.
You know what it's like to see guys or see games that we should win, that you should win, that just slip away for no reason. And
Right,
it's,
right,
It's
yeah.
frustrating. It's frustrating as a fan to see games that you should win when you have a 3-point lead or even a 2-point lead going into the 9th inning, the 8th inning, and we fall short. So it's something that's got to change. Teams need to start drafting more about pitching. Hitting is a big deal, but if you can get hitters that can have a great on-base percentage, and you have pitchers that can actually pitch and get you through a whole game without scoring more than 3 runs, you're going to win most games.
And it's not just Josh Hamilton, it's also Joe Blanton. He's the other one.
Joe
I can't
Blanton.
stand.
Well,
Hey.
we all know about Joe Blanton.
Oh, certainly do.
Oh, boy.
We certainly do.
You guys want him back?
Sucker!
Oh, man. Hey, we're about to wind down a little bit. We're pushing the 5 o'clock hour. Make sure to take care of your bartenders and servers. Continue soaking it up here at the San Pedro Brewing Company. All the Eric, what did you think of the sliders, by the way?
They were really good.
Yeah?
I mean, I wish they were bigger because I wish I had more, but they were great. I mean, and for the price, I didn't even know it was happy hour. I came here, I got a slider, fries, and a beer for less than $10. It's amazing.
Beautiful.
It's
Hey,
amazing.
you can't beat that. This is a great spot to be at, especially on a Friday afternoon like this in the summertime. Actually, first day of summer, you can't beat it, man.
No.
You cannot.
Yeah,
And-
I didn't even know it was the first day of summer. Once you mentioned that, I was like,
Yeah,
wow.
no, I just found out today. Everyone was blowing up Twitter about that. But anyways, I hope you guys are having a great time here today. We're going to wrap up a few more minutes, just some final points. Eric, we're going into the NBA offseason. What do you think the biggest surprise will be?
The biggest surprise will be,
Does Dwight stay a Laker?
yeah, I want to say that. What happens to Dwight? Because I think we all know what's going to happen to Chris. I think what happens to Dwight. And also, I know
And Kobe went on 710. What?
he's going to join him and he's going to be a Clipper. That's what Ricardo said.
okay, there we
But
go.
I hope not.
If you went on 710, Kobe Bryant said he thinks both Dwight resigns with Lakers and Chris Paul comes back with the Clippers. I mean,
Yeah.
is that pretty much the thing that we all expect to happen?
I think that in the way that the league is now, that's very. I would say it's 80% chance that happens. I mean, nowadays the league is all about talk.
Yeah.
It's all about talk and getting leverage. And I think that once both players get enough leverage that they need, they're going to sign with the team that they originally stayed on. So I think that's what's going to happen.
I honestly think both teams, both guys stay on their respective teams
Yeah.
because it's just too uncertain to go to these other teams and try to build a contender. Chris Paul has been, I think both of them love Los Angeles, the
Yeah.
city itself, too much
Yeah.
to just want to say, all right, we're going to go to Houston. We're going to go to Atlanta. We're going to go to some other smaller market team. To go there or to make a hasty decision like that with really a kind of a cloudy future. Granted, it's cloudy with both LA teams right
Yeah.
now. However, I think with them at the head of it, I think they're comfortable with whatever happens in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
You got potentially a big free agency class in 2014. We don't know what's going to happen with the Clippers if they're going to make that trade, get Rivers, get Garnett. The Lakers have another slew of issues they've got to kind of sort out. I think both teams could be happy with either situation because it frees up the cap flexibility of 2014. I think is just such a big asset.
Yeah, and that's what I'm realizing, that this year will be minuscule to what next year. Everyone is gearing up for next year, and no matter what, the league's going to change completely next year. There's going to be players that you would never expected on teams that you would never expected. A lot of guys will stay, but I think right now everyone's kind of just gearing up for that, and that's why I also think that Miami has a great chance to win next year, just because a lot of teams are going to bite the bullet and just wait until 2014.
I got you. Well, hey, Steve, what do you think? 5 more minutes ought to do it?
Yeah, I guess.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, 5 more minutes.
He's used to us going
Lon
overtime.
Stouts, a.k.a. my brother, Johnny Camello.
Oh,
Why don't
Lonnie.
you come on up?
Let's go, Lonnie.
Third chair. Calling your name. Sorry, Steve, this is the last time.
Yeah, Steve's been so
The
nice.
lead
He's just giving
guitar
his chair to
player of
everyone.
the Pinheads joining us right now. Come on up, Johnny. Thank you, Steve.
Does anyone ever say that you guys look exactly identical?
You know what? We do get that from time to time. Although Johnny likes to say that I'm his foster brother, not his real brother.
That's right. That's what the older brother should say.
No,
I don't know.
that's
Look,
courtesy of Mikey B.
It's Fireball?
All right, great.
Okay,
Thank you.
nice.
Like coming in clear.
All right. Am I coming in?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you're good.
Good.
What's up, guys?
Yeah.
How's it going?
Speak up into it a little bit. You're good.
What's up, Bruco?
There it is. Can you guys hear?
We
You
can
guys
hear 'em.
him.
Give
All
it
right,
up for the
beautiful.
Did you guys hear him?
Am I coming
All
in
right.
clear? There it is.
Hey, what's up?
Johnny Camello, my older brother, lead guitar player of the Pinheads, playing tonight at Nicky Finn's. Joining us right now, the man who kind of introduced me into the world of sports. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, how you guys doing over there?
It's the parent trap up here, guys.
Mikey Varell in the house.
Yes, there he is. The whole Peanut Gallery's been to the right of us. They've been a distraction the entire afternoon.
They've been great.
But it's been great. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Those guys are awesome.
I'd like to give a shout out to my grandmother who just turned 92.
Yes.
She's here.
A great lady.
She ran the hurdles in the late 30s.
Yes, she did.
Very good for her.
Nice.
I think Calvin Coolidge was president.
Very
all right.
good.
John, you've heard all of this shtick today. What is the one thing you agree or disagree with going back to the finals?
I guess we left. We're not a family radio show anymore.
Go ahead.
Going back to the finals, going back to the Dodger talk, Lakers talk, that Clipper trade that's going down. What's the one thing you agree with, disagree with? Just give us your input.
Okay, well, you guys have to refresh my memory real quick because we can't quite hear you out there. So we just, we're in our own little social environment. But what did you say about the Clippers? Should they do the trade?
For Doc Rivers, yeah.
I love when they can trade a coach. If they can trade a coach.
They've done it 4 times in sports history.
Give it up for trading a coach. Yeah.
I like Doc Rivers. I do.
John Bagak would love Doc Rivers in the mix with Kevin Garnett.
Well, you imagine this during Wired on ABC. This would be Doc Rivers on Griffin. Hey, Blake, you gotta step up, man. Come on. Hey, everything we do together, huh?
100%.
Everything we do, 100%. Everything we do together.
Give me Robert De Niro as a coach, coaching Blake Griffin.
Oh, God.
Blake,
A
you
little
call
bit.
that defense. You call that defense. You call that defense.
A little bit.
Little bit. That's a little bit of defense. That's not big time defense.
A little bit.
You're lucky I don't.
I'm pretty sure that you're the best at doing it, right?
I was calling in shows for the past 2 years as just
Random sports athletes and actors alike.
I called in my infamous Lon South, which is my alias.
Hey, give us that Lon South.
Hey guys, how you guys doing out there?
There you go. Well, I'll let you know, Lon, and all the other impersonations you've done. Half of my friends for most of the year thought that you were actually them. So
this
you
is the guy.
did a damn
this
good
is the
job.
imposter
You did
right
a
here.
I appreciate that, you city slickers. How you guys doing over here?
How y'all doing over here?
Great. I got the Clippers in 5 for the next game. The Heat in 5.
Everybody was always in 5 games with you, Lon.
Yeah,
It was.
5.5. I don't know. I took the Heat and the
He's
over.
got 5 on it.
Hey, Lon, or John or Lon, whichever you like to be called. What you enjoyed this finals? Was it very similar to the 2010 Lakers Celtics finals?
It was, and we broke it down. Miami got 2 championships consecutively. They got the back-to-back,
Just
like
the Lakers did.
in a 7 game. So in 2009, the Lakers won in 5 games, and I believe last year the Miami Heat won in 5 games as well. So we all think that next year, I think the Heat are going to be disassembled.
Not disassembled, but maybe eliminated in a playoff series. But maybe parts would be traded. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
we all don't know what this offseason has to offer. Battier and Mike Miller, they've talked about retirement.
I've heard-
Chris Bosh has had trade. I mean,
I've
you
heard
don't know
also
what's
that they're
gonna
talking about getting Greg Oden. So.
Oh, that's great. A
Greg
guy,
Oden, but I think we all know
those
Greg
knees are completely
Oden's
shot.
fate
He
is, his knees.
Dumb.
I don't think they allow crutches on the court while running up and down the floor, Eric.
I still probably pretty sure that Greg Oden's bum knee could beat Dwight Howard's bad back. So get out of there.
Dwight was not bad. Come on. All right, that's just insulting. You're in a timeout.
Hey,
Don't
wait!
talk
Don't
to
you
me.
guys want to trade him? And you just had him for a year, right?
The bottom line is that LeBron James, and I hate to say that as a Laker fan,
Right.
is the best player in the game by head and shoulders above everyone else.
Yeah.
And he proved it last night in the final few minutes. He just was hitting shot after shot. He's making the right passes. Battier stepped up big. It was what it was. I mean, what can you say? So we'll have to see next year what happens. But I
Hey,
think
by the way, what did you think about him ditching that headband? That was kind of hot, bro.
yeah. I mean, he looked about 38 years old, but that's
Yeah,
all right.
I think you needed to follow. I think you now need to follow Kevin Blackistone and shave that whole thing.
By the
Exactly.
way, what was the point of him saying, I'm LeBron James? There he is. I'm LeBron James from Akron, Ohio, from the inner city. I ain't even supposed to be here.
I think that was awesome.
Yeah, what was wrong with that?
Well, he had a little identity crisis.
I think he did. He was trying to figure out who he was.
I think he wanted everyone to remember that he made a horrible decision, which he did. So
Yeah, but I mean, in the end, they won the championship. San Antonio let it slip.
yeah.
They let it slip. They let Ray Allen take over with that 3, and that was kind of the dagger, I think. You can't let that game go to overtime in Game 6. The momentum shifted all the way to Miami in Game 7, and that was that. So we'll have to see next year. I don't know who else can compete in the East.
I honestly think that Tim Duncan not missing that bunny was the game changer.
It was big. I don't know if it
the
was
last
the
30
game.
seconds of Game 6 completely outweighs the missing of the 2 shots because that would have tied the game. The 30 seconds, all you had to do was just hold on.
Yeah,
Make your free throws, get a rebound, the game is done.
I think everyone looks at that game just because it was the closest game, but I still think that.
I don't know, Game 1 was pretty close too.
If Duncan makes that shot, there's a big difference.
It would have been. I want to switch gears here real quick. I want to give a
Yeah, we're
quick
gonna-
shout out to Yasiel Puig,
Yes.
who has taken over Los Angeles by storm.
There he
Puig
is.
mania.
There he
There
is.
he is. Number
Puig
66.
mania.
Hey, hold on. That's Puig's white brother right there.
There he is. That's right. Absolutely. I don't think he defected from Cuba, but that's all right.
Did you defect from Havana too, Christian? Did you defect from Cuba? Of course. There it is.
No, he defected from Cuba.
No, he went to Cuba
and then
just to defect.
Then he went to Mexico, got his green card, and then came over. That's what happened.
Well,
And my mother, who loves Yasiel Puig,
This
she
is my
watched-
mom. This is my mom. It's just like, hey, Mom, Puig's up. Oh, I got to sit down. Oh, go Puig. Go Puig.
Yeah. She gets a little crazy with that. But we
Yeah.
want to give a shout out because I think that's the best thing since Fernando that has happened in
Yeah.
the Dodgers. I mean,
It is
we
true.
got a bunch of what do we have? Hanley. I mean, we got a bunch
Adrian
of guys.
Gonzalez, Matt Kemp,
Inconsistent.
Carl
Puig is the
Crawford.
closest thing.
Yeah,
Puig
we
is
got
the
a lot of
closest
good
thing.
guys.
By the way, Puig has a striking resemblance to Cam Newton, don't you think, Steve? A little bit?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
you think so.
I think his shoulders do. He's really,
Yeah.
he's got those big shoulders.
He's got those big Cam Newton shoulders. Cam.
Yeah, he's on that creatine too, which is doing a
Yeah,
lot
he's
of
definitely not British.
wonders.
Well, John, hey, I just want to say thank you so much for being a great brother and always supporting the show and listening and telling me what I did wrong every week.
I was very critical, as some people are to me sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So I needed that, but it helped me become better, and hopefully it's just the beginning. And Eric, I speak for him as well. I know he always appreciated the calls as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
You guys did a great job, and like I said, I think I was more or less critical because, if you want to be the best, you always have to compare yourself to the best.
Positive criticism is the best.
Absolutely.
So,
and you have to always have that
Constructive
little
criticism,
drive.
yeah.
So we know that. Give a shout out to the Doc out
The
there.
Doc supporting the Pinhead shirt.
There he is.
Hey, by the way, whoever needs a pedal worked on or an amp, or you just want to shred for an afternoon in Lomita, go see the doc, Matt Archuleta, one of my great friends.
Nice.
He's almost like a third brother.
There he is.
Or like a distant cousin, one of the two. No, I'm just kidding. You're the best, Doc. We love you.
And a couple more shout-outs to Uncle Tony who came here.
Yes,
because
Window
he
Task
called
Force.
me today thinking that I was his brother, Uncle John.
Yes.
So I told him all about it. Perfect. It was perfect. And Ryan Vidicic,
Ryan Vidicic supporting a Miller Lite shirt.
who finally
There we go.
fixed a downstairs toilet.
And Erica D'Ambrosi, whose father could not be here today for personal reasons.
We have to
even
give
though
a
he's on
shout out
the
to everyone that's out over here.
Yes.
Mikey V, John Bagak.
Absolutely. Julie Pelikova.
These guys are real sport
Our
guys right over here.
bartenders.
John is
Megan, they
definitely
did a terrific job. John, thank you for coming on today. And also Roberto did a good job.
All right, Roberto.
That was a good, excellent.
Roberto.
No, not Roberto. Ricardo.
Roberto.
Ricardo, a.k.a.
Ricardo.
Tato.
And Roberto.
Tato.
Right on. Well, hey, thanks to everyone who came out today.
What about this guy right here?
Oh, and of course, our station manager / engineer / the guy who set everything up today, Stephen James. We just got to get him a Dodger jersey.
Yeah.
Hey.
Thank you so much, Steve.
You've dealt with all
You
of
guys
our...
made this look legit. I've never seen the Bruco look this legit on stage.
Well, the
Just
banner's
to-
doing a good job.
Just to let you know. I mean,
It's
no
all
offense,
Steven.
Mikey V.
It's all Steven.
I know you're a DJ and all that, but, you know. Yeah. And one
Did a
more
terrific
shout
job.
out to Roberto.
Ricardo.
Ricardo.
Sorry, Ricardo.
Oh, Ricardo. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
And Grandma Angie, 92 years old.
92.
So, yes, beautiful.
All right, you guys.
John,
You guys sounded great. Great idea to do
What?
the show over here. Take
So
those
compare-
shots.
Yes, we will.
I guess to these guys you are. I don't know what's going on.
Can I get it? Can I get like a little fade out music, some like Journey or something like that?
No, you can't get that. You can get Crosstown Traffic with the
Okay.
rest of us.
Give me some. Don't give me Don't Stop Believing. I want an obscure song. Give me After the Fall. Journey.
We're going to give you Rosetta Stone. That's what we're going to give
All
you.
right,
so
but you got to
get
start
there.
walking away.
Okay, but can you give me After the Fall?
Hey, can you get After the Fall up
Hold on.
real quick?
I want After the Fall as I leave.
We'll try. We'll try my best. All right.
All right, hang on a sec, John.
I'm gonna stay up here until the song goes.
All right, putting pressure on Eric over
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna put a lot of pressure on him. That's all right.
Yeah.
There we go. We got it.
Yeah, go ahead, do your thing. Thank you guys so much. Support the Sports Corner. I really want to give a shout out to Chris Camello, who has been doing an excellent job. He's a local guy over here, local kid. He's been going to the Bruco ever since he was a minor. So give a quick shout out to him.
They let you in here?
They let him in here since he was 16, so he's all good.
Thank you, Johnny Camello, one of the better guitar players in the South Bay area. If you need a guitar player, get him today.
All right.
All right, it's enough.
Cut.
All right, that was After the Fall from another artist.
Oh, we're waiting for that. That's the after shot.
All right.
That's
Well,
when we
that's
start
going to
the party.
about do it for all of us here today at the Sports Corner. Thank you once again, everyone who joined today and participated and came out and listened, and or just came out for happy hour and happened to listen.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate
Hey, Steve,
it.
thanks
You
again.
guys in the
Terrific
corner.
job today. Station manager.
Hey, been a pleasure working with you guys.
Absolutely.
Despite,
Always,
You guys
always.
always
Anybody
making
who
fun
ever
of
wants
me,
to listen
always
to
putting me down.
KDHR, go to KDHR.net. I'm going to post this podcast within the next, or Steven is, in the next couple day or so.
Monday, I'm going on vacation.
Monday. Okay.
It will be available Monday. I will have the link up on Facebook, so be sure to tune in. But for the last time ever, Eric's moving up to Washington, by the way,
Yep.
in August, so he's on his way out up north to be
Yep.
with his lovely girlfriend, Krista, who
Yep.
just got into graduate school. Wait, by the way, was she here today?
No, she's
Oh,
not here.
she was not here.
She's
All
up
right.
in Big Bear.
Disappointment. But anyways, for the last time, I'm Chris Camello,
I'm Eric Small.
and we will see you guys on the other side.
Take it easy, guys.